This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Righty, good afternoon, boys and girls, and welcome aboard to the program. We're coming to you live from Hialeah Park. Yeah, we're a little earlier than normal. We are accommodating a guest that's going to join us at 3 o'clock. Actually, something interesting. The Drone Racing League is coming to South Florida. It's going over to Marlins Stadium. What's it called? Lone Depot Park, right? I think it is. Lone Depot Park. And we're going to have one of the pilots on at 3 o'clock. Hello, Joe. David Dwork is going to stop by at 4:30 to talk a little, and it's going to be pretty much a depressing conversation. That's what I've gone back and forth with George and David throughout the season. Just texting and tweeting and that kind of stuff, and we haven't done a lot of hockey talk because really there's nothing good to talk about. You know what I mean? It's just complaining. It's kind of like watching the Heat game last night, dude. They can't even be favored by 1 point. Wow. I mean, it got really pathetic last night for the Heat. Alan Poupar will stop by at 5 o'clock. Bitcoin hits 25K. I tell you, bro. And by the way, Sean, where are all those people that would make fun of Bitcoin? Where are those people? Where are they? Why did you all disappear on me? I just tweeted out, if you put on December 31st, okay, so today's February 16th, a month and a half ago, 45 days ago, if you put $1,000 in Bitcoin, you would have over $1,500 right now, 45 days later. I don't know. A lot of investments move $500? No, right? No, I don't think so. U.S. dollar ever move like that? No. But keep thinking the dollar is where you go. But anyway, so it's just kind of funny and it's hilarious. I sent Darren Rovella a reminder today just to kind of troll him a little bit and say, well, it's a cult, right? There you go. I love Ponzi. I love cult. It's like, a month and a half ago, you get Polygon at 75 cents. It's $1.44 right now. you would have doubled your money. Okay? Doubled your money. Buy the dips, right? It's what we always say. Buy the dips. Buy the dips. By the way, not a financial advisor. Okay? Go to a professional for that. I can only tell you what I like and what I do and all that kind of stuff. But just a suggestion, everything's gone parabolic right now. Everything's going straight. You don't buy now. Wait. Lots of people bought when it was low. And then you'll have the super rich people. Not me. I'm a working stiff. I can only buy a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. But the real rich people, like, I told you, hey, if you put $1,000 in Bitcoin at 16,500, you would have over 1,500 right now. You would be making over $500 of profit right now. Well, think about the people that put 10 million or 50 million into Bitcoin, and it goes up like this. So they're going to be pulling out, and so that will bring that will have reactions in the market. So you will have some dips coming, and then that's when you get in. You never buy on a parabolic rise. Wait. Patience is very important in investing. Patience. You never ever buy on the run. If you do, that's because it's going to find a floor. It's going to come back a little bit because people are going to sell off of profits, and you would too, like anybody would. But anyway, so just wanted to mention that because it's just absolutely awesome to see those of us that have been hanging in there throughout the bear market for over 14 months. It's been pretty sweet to hang in there. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Very, very important to smash the hell out of the like button. Also hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching and not subscribing, please subscribe. And also hit the notification bell. That way like today, you would have gotten the notification bell 10 minutes earlier than maybe you just come on at 3 o'clock or, well, I know O's on. Let me go to 3 o'clock. Sean and O are going to be on. But today we went on at 2:50. So this way you kind of get a little heads up on hey, wait a minute. They're on a little earlier. Why? And then now you find out why. So there you go. We just found out Tim McCarver passed away at the age of 81. Hall of Famer, a great broadcaster, player. I'm a Phillies fan, so he played for my Phillies when I was a kid, and then obviously grew into the position of a broadcaster for many, many years. Still remember that day that Deion Sanders threw water on him in the locker room. Do you remember that? No? Yeah, Deion Sanders. Carver didn't like. He was critical of Sanders' kind of style and all that, and so Sanders getting him back threw a bucket of ice water on him in the middle of a locker room broadcast. So I still remember that exchange between Carver and Deion overall. I wonder if that goes through Deion's mind today when he hears that Tim McCarver passed away. I wonder if that, listen, we all have our moments in life, and sometimes you regret them, and it's just one of those things. But anyway, I was just telling Sean, man, you're getting old when you're watching people like this pass away, but I watched a Boone play for the Phillies. Then I watched his son play in the majors, and then I'm watching his son manage in the majors. So I've gotten past the point of watching sons play. I'm watching sons of sons play. I'm watching sons who are now managers and head coaches and all that kind of stuff. Forget the players that I grew up with. Yeah, I saw them become managers or coaches or whatever and then retire and broadcast. No. I'm watching their sons become managers and coaches, not their sons become players. That's one stage of getting old. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when I run into somebody, and this always makes me feel great at a concert, right? I run into the father and the son. And the father says, man, I've been listening to you forever. And then the son says, yeah, I've been listening to you since I was a kid with my dad. And then you're like, oh my God, there's 2 generations of listeners. Oh God, I am old. I've been around too long, that kind of stuff. So I'm around so long now that, you're watching the sons manage and coach and all that. It's just really is crazy, dude, how, if you last long enough, obviously, if you're blessed. And today, the Lord, chose to give me one more day here on Mother Earth, which I'm very grateful for. So we lose Tim McCarver, but hey, man, I always say if you get into the 80s, you did really good. You get into the 90s, you are a thief, and if you're 100, you're a ghost already at this point. You're ghosting, death. Is what you're doing basically, at that point. So I can only wish to get to the 80s like Mr. McCarver did. And so rest in peace to McCarver. And yesterday we lost Raquel Welch too. And we were just talking about her also. We had just mentioned her, on the show. And when we talk about, nowadays it's Halle Berry, it's J Lo, it's Salma Hayek, those women that are looked at like, elite ultimate beauties. That was Raquel Welch, absolute perfection, growing up, and obviously grew up with that movie, 1 Million BC, and everything else she did. I remember she did a movie called Mother, Jugs, and Speed, if I remember correctly, with Bill Cosby, a young Bill Cosby, like they were in an ambulance and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, Raquel Welch is, my God, just perfection. It's what she was. She was a perfect beauty. Like the Lord, he makes a couple of those, every once in a while, he makes a couple of those women that are just, bam, okay, perfect mold, that. And she was definitely one of those. No doubt about that, man. No doubt about that. Oh, looks like we got it going on. Yeah, little B-roll there. Anyway, so we'll have a little fun. Sean is tripping out. All right, and let's bring aboard Alex Vanover with own racing league. It is coming to South Florida. It is coming here February 25th. Doors will open up at 6 o'clock. The racing will start at 7:15. The Ultimate Drone Racing Party coming to Miami. The Algorand World Championship season race coming in. And our guy Alex is ready to take over. Alex, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Very good, man. I am, I'm a big Algorand guy. I got a big old bag of Algorand. I've been a believer in Algorand. I'm a big crypto guy. I have my own crypto segments on the show and all that kind of stuff. So I've been a crypto proponent for a couple of years now. And Algorand is one of the companies that I'm heavily invested in. And one of the things I've been watching is how drone racing has just absolutely taken off. And, drones are a part of our everyday lives now. Whether we see them all the time now that they're using them in war, but we're using them for promotional purposes. We're using them for fun. And then the beauty of life is that we're finding ways to make a living, whether it's playing video games, whether it's crypto mining, or whether it's racing drones. And so that's kind of what you're doing now. And I just find it really cool how people can find different niches in life. And that's exactly what you've been able to find with the Drone Racing League.
Yeah, absolutely. I started flying drones when I was just a little kid, and I'm 23 now, so I've been doing it for about 13 years. And yeah, I had a dream when I was, 2016, and I saw DRL on television. I told my dad that I wanted to be a world champion drone racer, and just stuck to that goal and won the championship in 2019. And this is what I do for a living. You're absolutely right. The whole drone space as a whole has just taken off, and DRL is really at the forefront of it right now. So it's very exciting times, and you said it yourself already. Miami's coming up very soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I think they've got some B-roll for us there. I don't know, so people can actually watch it. We're gonna bring it up and see if you guys wanna play it in the background out there. Let's see if I think that's kind of what the other box is for, because that's what we were talking about, is adding a little B-roll there. And I don't know if Melanie is doing it back there or somebody, but anyway, we'll leave it up. And I don't know if it's B-roll or not that's going to come up there, but if it's not, just tell me, give me a heads up on it. But Alex, so when did you get the bug? Okay, because brother, I try to fly drones and I suck. I mean, I bought one and I ruined the thing trying to learn how to do it in my house, and it was, flying all over the place, hitting walls, whatever. It is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's not easy. I think it takes definitely a lot of dedication and time, and you have to have a lot of persistence, right, to be able just to learn how to fly. These racing drones, there's no stabilization, and the reason there's no stabilization is that's what allows us to push the limits and go very fast. So, one of the best ways to learn to fly is just on the simulator. DRL has a simulator. It's almost one-to-one with the real drone, so a lot of people start on that, and then they end up flying real drones after. But for me, I started with remote control airplanes. So with remote control airplanes, it's a little bit easier because it'll fly itself if you don't touch the controls. But with the drone, not so much. You kind of always have to be on it. But thankfully, I
Yeah.
was able to understand the controls when I started flying drones because it's similar to that of like a remote control airplane. So it made the transition for me a lot easier. But make no mistake, I mean, I probably crashed more than you've crashed a drone. I
Yeah, but
only
dude, you're flying at 8,000 miles an hour. You're going through hoops and loops and all kinds of stuff. So it's a little different. I'm just trying to go up and down and sideways, and I can't do that.
yeah. No, but
it's,
definitely,
it's a different challenge.
crashing just a normal part of flying a drone, really, to be honest. And if you embrace that and you just know that crashes are going to happen and that's the way you're going to get better, then just do it.
Yeah, well, my producer Sean has got like one of those drone cameras, and he knows how to kind of manage it and all of that. So let me ask you something, because it is, and for those of you, go to Drone Racing League, go on social media and check out the videos, and you can see. I mean, it's an amazing presentation. I'm looking forward to being there
Yeah.
to check out the event and meet you too at the same time, and meet all the racers out there and have some fun, because it's something that I'm interested in and I'm intrigued. But as for preparation purposes, like, we have there's a university close by my house called FIU, and they have on the south side, they have an area where there's like this runway, and people would go with their model planes
Mhm.
and practice and fly in that area and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm wondering, for you, how do you simulate what you do in the drone racing league? Is there a simulator that you have? Is it do you have a place where you guys practice,
Mhm.
an area like that? Because I would imagine that since you guys are racing, there's a completely different challenge and a whole complete different preparation than an idiot like me trying to fly it in my house.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a whole level of preparation before each of these events. Like right now, Miami is just over a week away. So there's a couple different ways that I'm training. It's really hard to build a stadium in your backyard. So the best thing that we can do in order to replicate what it feels like to fly in the stadium is to use the simulator. And thankfully, the Drone Racing League, they give us access to the virtual map of where we're going to be flying about 2 weeks out from the races. So I like to go in the simulator. I like to feel out the venue. I like to see what kind of lines I might choose to take depending on the track and stuff like that. But the other big factor of it is just going out and flying the real drone, and you don't need the stadium to do that. You just need a park with some gates or trees, and you can go out and do that. And that's basically what I've been doing day in, day out for the last week, and I'll continue to train every day up until I leave on a plane for the event, just going out and flying over and over again, crashing a lot and repeating the process.
you wouldn't crash as much as I would, that's for sure. So let me ask you something. When you're preparing for this, all right, and the challenge of doing the racing and all that kind of stuff, how do you simulate that part of it? In the simulator, are you racing against others, or is it just a solo type of thing?
Yeah, so in the racing, you can race against basically like a ghost. So essentially, uh, you can just race against the very best time that you set on the track. And that's actually really good. Just being able to compare against your previous best time and trying to beat that is a very good way to kind of get racing in. But for me, even if it's simulator or if it's real life racing, what I like to do is just pretend that there's 5 other drones flying at the same time. And I actually like to almost make myself nervous. I like to put that pressure on myself because that's the hardest thing for us pilots to practice dealing with is, when we're out practicing in an open field, it's just us. But the moment we get out there in front of you guys in Miami, there's going to be 10,000 people there who are going to be cheering, booing us, depending on which pilot they like. And there's really no way to simulate that. So the best thing I can do is just mentally prepare myself to be a fortress. So when I get out there, doesn't matter what's happening around me, because we're the 12 best pilots in the world. Any one of us can win or lose a race any given day. But what's going to win races like Miami is going to be the pilot who can not only fly the best, but they can also handle all those other things as well. And so that's what I'm preparing my mind for.
As spectators, in auto racing, they get to put on the headsets and hear the crews talk to the racers and all that kind of stuff, and you get to hear some of that stuff. Is there any communication that the fans have access to? And are you guys communicating amongst each other, talking some trash amongst each other and the pilots there? I'm just wondering what goes on. Do we have any way of tapping into the background of that?
Yeah, so obviously we do interviews in between the races, and during the races themselves, there will be pilot cameras on the big screen and stuff like that. So you guys will feel like you're really close to us. And obviously we'll have the meet and greets and stuff like that. But when we're racing, the pilots are going to be more kind of like out on home plate, because we're going to be in the center of the track, which is going to be actually really cool for the spectators to watch. But yeah, I mean, definitely when the racing's happening, there's definitely some trash talk that goes around. I try to hold myself above that, but I fall short more times than I succeed. So there's times where if I'm ahead in a race, or if I know that there's a guy who's maybe a little insecure about himself, maybe I'll throw some shade at him, tell him, there's a lot of people out there. So I like to do my talking before the races and after the races. I don't really like to talk much during, because we were only racing for 60 seconds, and you really do require full focus while you're
For sure.
But yeah. I like to the best way that I guess talk trash is just by being myself. And by doing that, I just go out there with this physical level of confidence that I think intimidates the other pilots, because I love the crowd. I don't care if you're booing me. I don't care if you're cheering for me. I just care that you're there and you're watching, because I'll feed off that energy.
Well, 10,000, man, that's pretty cool. Do you see it? Because, one of the things, obviously, I'm an old gamer. I'm not a modern day gamer, but I do understand how big it is and how big it's gotten. And, we see the competitions all over, and they're filling arenas and stadiums, and we're seeing thousands and thousands of young people that are flocking to a lot of these contests. Do you see drone racing growing in the same fashion that you guys are developing fan bases, and that individually you guys are also growing your own fan bases?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just in the last couple of seasons that I've raced in DRL, even with, the whole COVID outbreak, we've grown from a couple thousand, a couple hundred people to a couple thousand to now 10,000 people in Miami. I mean, the sport, if you compare it to like where the NBA started and where the NFL started, we're growing at a very similar rate. And so it's just a matter of time as drone racing becomes more popular and people continue to go out to these events and see the racing, that I believe this does become a mainstream sport. And it's going to be more on like the esports side of things, of course,
Sure.
than NBA like that. But it's definitely going to be one of the sports where it's already getting there. I mean, I go into an airport or something like that, I get recognized by people who've seen me on TV. If you go and ask your neighbor if they've ever seen drone racing on television, there's a high probability that they have. So, my job as well right now, as kind of, being at the forefront of the sport, is to make sure the sport is presentable, to make sure that I'm putting on good races for the fans, and, trying to make myself someone that you or anyone else would want to follow and support and get behind. As like their favorite drone pilot. And I think that level of engagement is what is starting to happen right now in drone racing. People are getting really invested, and that's exciting to see, because that's what it's going to take for the sport to go to the next level.
Oh, just out of curiosity, how do they regulate it? Like, like in NASCAR, they've got the restrictor plates to kind of keep everybody at a even level playing field.
Yeah.
How do they do that with drones?
So with the drones, we fly what's called the Racer 4. And what's cool about DRL is that it's a spec league. So everyone flies the exact same thing, the same goggles, the same controller. There's only very little things that we can adjust on the drone itself, and that's in how sensitive the drone responds. But that doesn't change how fast it is. That just is more of something that helps us fly better. And so what's cool about the Drone Racing League is when you lose a race or when you win a race, that everyone was on the same playing field. There was no one that had any type of an advantage. And as a pilot, that is the most exciting type of drone racing that you can possibly get, because you don't have to question whether or not you lost because your gear wasn't built right, or if it was.
Right.
And DRL has a team of tech ops which is about 15 to 20 people who are building and maintaining 600 drones per event, which is a lot of drones. And we go through a lot of them because we like to go out there and fly fast. And when we crash, we pretty much destroy these things, which is very entertaining for the spectators to watch, by the way.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's what we stick around for, is all the crashes,
yeah,
anyways. And by the way, you're basically stealing that line from Top Gun Maverick, right? Come on, Mav. It's
yep,
not the plane, it's the pilot, right? It's that's so it's really down to the pilot, not the drone in this
yeah,
case.
absolutely. It's all down to the pilot, and there's no such thing as slow drones. There's only slow pilots. So that's what I like to say.
Yeah. By the way, I love the way they've dressed it up, man. I mean, the lights, everything, the obstacle course. What do you guys call it? The course. What do you call it?
You can just call it the course, really. I mean, just
Okay. I
gates.
Yeah, the look, dude, everything, the presentation. I mean, they have really taken it to another level, and it's pretty cool. Listen, man, we're going into the future now, and whether it's esports, whether it's drones, whether it's crypto, life is changing, and it's evolving, and the interests of younger generations obviously also is evolving. And it's not going to be the same old thing. It's not going to be just baseball. It's going to be drones, and it's going to be, esports and things like that. And we're watching how that is taking off. By the way, are you a crypto guy too? Since Algorand is the leading sponsor.
Yeah, I'm definitely a crypto guy myself. So I'm probably not as heavily invested as you or some other people probably are. But yeah, I mean, definitely I feel like it's kind of more of a trend in younger people to be invested in cryptocurrency. And,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
I'm invested just in the fact that I have my own secure wallet and, it's my thing. So yeah, I got Algorand, got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a bunch of other coins. So yeah.
By the way, Alex, I struggle with people my age to explain crypto to them and explain to them a digital wallet and all that.
Yep.
It is one hell of a challenge. By the way, I just want to mention Algorand right now is just at 27.5 cents right now. So doing really well. And it is up almost 18% in the last month. So headed in the right direction there. So describe to us what we're going to see on the 25th over at Lone Depot Park. Describe to people that have never been to the Drone Racing League, when they walk in, what is the atmosphere and what to expect from the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's start off with the atmosphere. The atmosphere at a drone event of this scale is just going to be so electric. I mean, doesn't matter how old or how young you are, everyone's going to have a good time at one of these events. And what you can expect is just a lot of very amazing drone racing. I mean, drone racing where drones are colliding midair, crashing into gates. You have these heated rivalries because remember, this is the end of our season, right? So there's me and a couple other guys are at that top, and we're fighting for the world championship, and that is going to be the last race of the season, and it's close. It's going to be very close, and so there's going to be a lot of tension between the pilots at that high level, and then you're going to have the guys who maybe didn't do so well, who are just trying to end on a high note. So what that means is we're going to have such electric racing. There's going to be a lot of heated battles out there. And as a fan, as a spectator, watching the drones zip around at 90 miles an hour, lit up, it's going through one of these crazy, like you said, courses that we have. It's going to be just so amazing, and it's hard to put it into words. So what I tell people is just go out to the event, watch it, and be sure to come find us and meet us, because we definitely do a lot of fan meet and greets, and we can definitely talk a lot more about drone racing and giving our advice here and there.
The 2019 DRL champion Alex Vanover joining us. And don't forget, February 25th at Lone Depot Park, Saturday. That's when the Algorand World Championship season race takes place. Get your tickets and find out more about it. You can go to our Twitter page at Big O Show. The link is there. You can follow it to get your tickets. Take your kids. They will enjoy it, I promise you, because this is what they're into now. Alex, thank you for taking some time, man, and explaining it for us and for me, a newbie, because I'm going to become a fan of the Drone Racing League. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you in Miami.
You got it, baby. We'll see you here in our backyard. There you go. Alex Vanover from the Drone Racing League, man. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You looking forward to going to that? Huh? I am. I'm gonna see if we get some tickets too. Maybe we can get a couple tickets to give away. So there you go. Anyway, so there you go. A little Drone Racing League just to kind of mix things up a little bit today on Le Programme. What do we got? Bitcoin just hanging just under 25, man. All right. What do we have here? Excited for what the team will do. LFG Finn's family. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm with you. Jay Gelfin in the house. I see in the chat. Cap for Life. GP Trap in. Gus 1388. Brett Dodgers, as I recall, or one of them. Yes, talking little Raquel Welsh. Sneak Attack 305. Giovanni is in. Ragin is in. Let's see. John Fernandez. Raquel was smoking by today's. Raquel is smoking in any standard, bro. Let's see. Saw that movie. Oh, the paint the zipper scene is hilarious. Yeah. It's a good movie, Mother Jugs and Speed. Back in the day, I don't know how it holds up nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Alexis is in. Ridiculous on dollar that if not, it's not the way to invest. I know that. The dollar's a disaster, but what can I tell you? It's the people we put into office for the last 100 years have destroyed it. When does Big O start having Craig Mish on? Well, baseball season hasn't started. There's really not much to talk about, my friend. So I'm gonna wait till we actually have like something tangible to talk about at this point. Let's see. Big O, only a matter of time until we have dwarfs flying as drone jockeys. Pretty soon. Adrian Delgado in, Jason Myers in, Billy Shaw in. So appreciate a lot of you joining us already on the program. We are going to have David Dwork joining us at 4:30. Alan Poupar will stop by at 5. Let me see. We have time. Yeah. But before I do anything, let me tell you a little bit about Canesware. You're watching it there. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Listen, go check out the great people at Canesware, Brett and everybody out there, Jeff. They all do a great job. If you can't go to Davie and you live anywhere in the country, okay, they deliver. All right. You can go to canesware.com. Over $99, you will get free shipping. They got anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Go check it out. Caneswear.com. And make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. It's your Miami gear, Marlins gear, Panthers gear, Heat gear, Dolphins gear, and then, of course, anything and everything pretty much with a UM logo on it. All right. So check it out at caneswear.com. What else do we have going on? This is the time of year where people have to say stupid stuff, write stupid stuff in order to fill. And I get it because, as I've been telling Sean the last couple of days, it hasn't been easy to prepare for this show every day the last couple of days because there isn't really a lot of meat on the bone. And then the Heat suck and the Panthers suck. They're just not interesting whatsoever. And the Panthers aren't even in the playoffs right now. And the Heat are barely in the playoffs. And really, if you watch that team, they're nothing. It's a 2-point team in a 3-point world. You know what I mean? So it's hard. And football's done. So until we get into like real free agency and the draft, we won't even have anything else to talk about. So it's been tough to kind of prepare for all of this. And the Heat and the Panthers don't help us. You know what I'm saying? So then this is the time where people will write and do stupid things. Okay? I like Greg Cody a lot. I got nothing personal against Greg Cody. But today he wrote an article to fill space about Lamar Jackson. And it's something, maybe they should explore. And I get it. Some of you out there are dumb enough to think the same thing. And listen, I don't even know if Cody actually believes the shit that he's writing. Okay? I don't. Now, he did write an article once that you got to trade Marino because Scott Mitchell was playing well. And I actually believe he believed that then. So I'm not sure if he believes this now, okay? And I enjoy Greg Cody, the comical writer. You know what I'm saying? So, his predictions with the bird and all that other stuff. I always enjoy all that stuff. I've always enjoyed Greg Cody's work, okay? But hey, man, I say stupid things on the air, right? I've been on for 30 years. I'm not going to say everything that's actually logical and smart or whatever. I probably said a bunch of stuff that was wrong too. But this is the time of year where you've got to fill a bunch of bullshit. And since the Heat are unsexy, the Panthers are pathetic, right? And there's really nothing to talk about. Well, Dolphins will get it stirred up 365 days a year. And of course, you have your Tua disbelievers. So let's just throw out Lamar Jackson, who's the local kid. But see, in today's world, when you spew misinformation, it's very irresponsible because we have a lot of stupid people in this world. And they end up believing things like Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme or Bitcoin is bad for you and all that. And then, you have rich people and powerful people trying to tell you this because they want you to sell, they don't want you to buy, and they want to buy low. That's just the way this world is, right? We had one idiot with orange hair say, the election was rigged, and a bunch of you suckers believed them. You know what I mean? So it's really dangerous to throw out misinformation. It's really dangerous to throw things out that are irresponsible and they make no sense. And some of you are not very smart, and some of you don't really get football that well, and you actually think Lamar Jackson's a good quarterback. So, so some of you are just fooled by being fooled because you really don't know any better. And then some of you actually, you really don't know any better at all. So you'll get fooled by anything out there. And then this is what happens. And so somebody writes a stupid article about a subject that I don't even know if he really believes or not. It makes zero sense. You have the number one rated passer in the NFL. Your articles in the offseason, let me give some ideas out there, okay? Because if I'm going to slam the article, right, I should have a solution to it, right? Well, maybe if you talked about making sure you solidified the left guard and the right tackle, and you talked up a plan, maybe you bring one guy back or you buy this guy in free agency or trade for that guy, whatever, and you come up with that article. How about coming up with the article of Mike McDaniel needs to find that complete tight end, the complete tight end that can block and help protection for Tua, to help keep Tua upright, and the same tight end that can go in the open spots field. Why not write about that and talk about the tight ends that you like in college coming out, in free agency that could be available, another one via trade that could be available, or something like that. There are many articles that you can actually talk about. And you can make it compelling to write about that instead of something stupid when you don't have great cap space. You're going to have to give up a bunch of picks, and you're also going to have to change the entire offense for a guy that is not a passer. He's a runner. But let me just throw out that stupid, irresponsible article because Lamar Jackson's from South Florida. It would take too much time and too much effort for me to try to find the angles for a tight end. It would take too much work for me to talk about the left guard and the right tackle and what they need to do to take it to the next level. It would take too long for me to break down the mistakes that Mike McDaniel made throughout the season in play calling. There are a lot of ways they can improve. There's a lot of things you can talk about, but let's go lazy and let's put out Lamar Jackson because it's a trigger, because it's a lightning bolt, because it's a hot button topic, and because there's enough stupid people out there that actually think he's a good quarterback. So hook, line, and sinker. Let's fill some space in the paper. Let's get some hits, and let's get the people that are anti-Tua riled up for something that is never going to happen, never even thought about in that front office, but I'll write about it anyways because it's a lazy take. It would take. That's what it would take. A lot more work, a lot more studying, a lot more trying to really make a compelling article. This is lazy. Let's just throw it out there. Scott Mitchell's playing a couple good games. Let's trade Marino. Hot button. Yeah, let's go. This is the time of year. And this is what is coming for the next couple of months because there's a lot of laziness in the media. And that, my friends, right there was a lazy article in the Miami Herald today by Greg Cody. That's it. So, anyway, get ready. Sweet Baby Ray says, Big O, I grew up watching Tim McCarver as a color analyst for the Mets in the 80s. God rest his soul. Cody did say he doesn't think it should happen. He doesn't want it to happen. He said explore it. Yeah, it's stupid. It's a stupid article. There's no exploring that. You have your quarterback. It's get everything else around it. Figure all the other things out. It's get better as a coach on game day. There's a lot of things that need to be done. And it's not go get another guy that can't pass and breaks down a lot too, actually. Breaks down more than Tua. We already have a weak arm Tua. Why the hell do we want a QB who couldn't hit water from a boat? Yeah, I know. Weak arm Tua, the number one deep passer in the NFL. Big O, the number of non-thinking sheeps keeps increasing just as the government wants, sadly. Yeah, they'll keep you stupid, bro. They like to keep you stupid. Okay? That's kind of the idea. Not why educate you? Keep you stupid. That way you have to rely on them and their bad decisions. But, yeah, I just thought it was a lazy take today. So, but hey, it's a trigger. Got me talking about it, right? So he succeeds. Let's see. For Life says, so someone please educate me. Dan Lebitard is known for asking the hard questions. So why is it that he's asking lazy questions to Two on Radio Road? Just saying smart guys know how to troll, in my opinion. I saw that interview. Levy didn't even talk pretty much in that interview. It was just one question, right? I think
it was just on the part about the family.
Yeah, that's it.
That everybody was saying was
it was all the other guys that were asking questions, actually. So yeah, it was. I mean, that they on uncomfortable and stuff like that. That's kind of what their thing is. You know what I'm saying? And there wasn't really a lot of deep stuff to go into with him. So they were all dying, every one of them in every interview. It was all going to be about the concussions. It's what I told you exactly. There was no hurry to get to the Pro Bowl. What for? He's going to just answer concussion questions for a couple of days. And that's why it just gets to the point where you've answered it once already. How many more different times can you answer the stuff about the concussions? And so they all hang on the sensationalism. Are you going to quit football? Are you afraid to play now? Will it change the way you play? And this and that. And they're trying to sensationalize it. That's all they want to do. That's it. That's all those interviews were about, because they couldn't go anywhere else. Why not try and talk about how the game was a lot easier for him this year with McDaniel, and what did McDaniel do? And what is it about this offense that you love? And your chemistry at times with the receivers was either on or sometimes it was off. What do you guys got to do in order to get on the same page? You know, why get into actual boring football talk? Which I think is stuff that really the hardcore Dolphin fan wants to find out about. But the problem is you're the minority, the hardcore Dolphins fan. The majority is, oh, concussions. Oh, is his career over? What does he feel now that he has a child? That he puts himself at risk? And so how many more times are you going to ask that question? Yahoo, NFL Network, Lebitard, whatever, everybody. It's like, that's it. Once you get past that question, you didn't really care about the team. So you're not really asking anything about the team. You know what I'm saying? Why not ask, hey, you didn't really have a tight end you can count on because this offense requires a guy to block and receive, but you didn't have that. What does that element bring if you do add it to this offense? And then it may be hard for him to answer because he's got Gesicki still, and he's probably going to defer to Gesicki and say he's great and this and that, whatever. But there are things you can talk about with him if you wanted to. If you really wanted to have a football conversation with the guy, you could actually have a football conversation. You can go over your silly little concussion question for one moment and then move on and have an entire football conversation. But instead, you're talking about, well, will you sue Mike McDaniel for murder if you would have died or whatever? It's like, come on, man. You know, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for, cutting everybody out. So I just don't. What else do we have? Mandarino says, I'm riding with Tua. It's just time to put it all together and get paid. Just prove how little critical thinking the masses in general let the media do for them. He's a baller. He is. Just got to figure out how to get rid of the ball faster. Big O, how do you personally feel about the Dolphins keeping Tua from proceeding through the protocol until Matthew, did you listen to the show at all? At all? Do you listen to this show? Do you listen to it every day? You listen to it throughout that time. What was I saying the entire time? He doesn't need to hurry up for nothing. He needs the entire offseason to rest. So I don't care if they waited till after the season. I'm glad they did it because he needed the time off. I wasn't with the people, oh, let's hurry up. Let's see if he can go play in the Pro Bowl. Like, who gives a shit about the Pro Bowl? Like, I need him tossing eggs and water balloons and playing flag football? No, dude, we don't need that. He needs rest. So what they did is made me super happy because I said the entire time I did not want him doing anything. I wanted him done. I didn't want him coming back for no playoffs or anything like that. So for me, super happy with it. And if you listen to the show, you wouldn't have to. You would know I wanted him to. Man, the first year I didn't even want him to play. I wanted him to really just heal. There was no hurry. You had Fitz there, let him play the whole year. Who cares? So, let's see. Brett says, remember the fantastic voyage with Raquel Welch in it? Yes. She was even smoking in a lab coat. She's smoking in anything. Raquel Welch can make anything look good. I tell my wife this all the time because sometimes she'll see somebody dressed kind of ridiculous, and it is kind of ridiculous. But if the woman is a smoke show and she's got a great body, I always tell my wife this. I say, if you're a smoke show, you can put on anything and make it look good. It could be loud or whatever, but if you got a rockin' body, you're going to make whatever crazy outfit look awesome because you've got a rockin' body. So, let's see. Panthers regressed. Heat are mediocre, and any hope for watching Marlins this season. I mean, I'll watch. There's no like hope for winning. No, there's no hope for winning. They don't spend enough. But they do have a couple of young bats that they added, so hopefully that'll help out with Jazz. Jazz is worth it. I'll be watching for Jazz. I'll be watching for Sandy. I mean, I'm going to watch anyway, but I'm the minority in all of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the majority Marlin fan. There isn't one. That's the problem. That they don't. There you go. Nice job by you, sir. Beautiful thing. Steve Allo is ready to join us. He's a little depressed this week. Eagles losing. Your Jersey boys were probably very unhappy in that town. Can you give him the mic at least? So once you get him on, and then we can. We'll get you the camera in a minute.
So my son, I had to wait a day or two before I called him. You know, the Philadelphians took it hard. You know, the officials. It's the officials. The whole game was down to one play, right?
He held twice on that play.
Yeah, no, let's not ruin a perfectly good story with the facts. You know,
it's like but he held it. No, he held twice on the play.
Yeah,
not once, but twice he tugged on the guy. And by the way, James Bradbury is one of my favorite athletes in today's sports because he's a man. He said, I held him, bro. Yeah. I screwed up.
I saw it.
I don't point fingers.
You gotta like him.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. And you know what I attribute it to? Okay, so we get on the turnpike, right? You do 70, 75, and 65. They're not going to pull you over.
Absolutely.
So now if, the officers on the sidelines there, everybody's doing 70, 72, but you swerved a little bit on your changing of lanes at 72, 73. He goes, I'm pulling that guy over.
Yeah.
And then, wait a minute, officer, I was going the speed yeah, but I saw you also, change lanes a little, irresponsible. So I'm pulling you over. And that's what I attribute
you get 2 tickets.
And you get
reckless driving and speeding.
And reckless driving and speeding. And so that's what I attribute to. Oh, holding happens all the time. Well, what do you want to do? You want to call it every time? But if you do it twice on one play, you now put that guy in a position that he had to make a call.
And by the way, I also subscribe to that was one play. The game, the Eagles defense doesn't have to give up 35 points prior to that,
or score only 11 in the second half.
Or score only 11. Although they did tie it up, that was kind of exciting.
Okay, but you only had 11. You had 24 points in the first half.
Right? Yeah, they got shut down, except for one drive,
and you couldn't get to Mahomes after having
the guy's
more sacks than God. Pretty much this year, because what did the Eagles have? Like 188 sacks this year?
They were like number 3 in the history of the NFL.
Right, exactly.
And now they couldn't get him in the second half.
No, they couldn't get him in the first half either.
Well,
there was 0 sacks.
Yeah, exactly. So
there's
60 minutes of no sacks from a team that had. So I mean, it was a little bit. I tried to walk them off the ledge, and they were good about it. They were actually
were they too busy flipping cars, not talking to you? Is that what it was?
Well, that's just a couple of my son's best friend. No. It was not my son, but it was one thing my son did say that was kind of nice. He's like, "No," I said, this was before the game. I said, it's like almost like a movie. You got Andy Reid, great coach, gets fired from Philadelphia or gets run out of town, whatever you want to say, right? And now he comes back and he's playing against the Eagles, same ownership, blah, blah, blah. And then he beats him. A little bit of now my son said, no, there's no bad feelings. There's no bad feelings between that was when he thought he was going to win.
Right,
That's when there was no bad feelings about Andy. And so I thought that was kind of nice. I thought that was nice of my son's part.
You can't be pissed at Andy if you're an Eagles fan. I mean he was great there, bro.
Got him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville. Got him in Jacksonville, which, I want to talk to the sports media people. I'm digressing.
Okay.
Grossly digressing.
Go ahead.
But that was I've done a couple of Super Bowls. Maybe one with my wife was, down here, and one with my son when he was a kid, and one with my best friend. Jacksonville was my best friend. I had a blast at all of them, but in Jacksonville, it was fantastic. And the media, the sports media, was beating up on them.
Oh, because they had to stay in boats and like
No, I mean
the hotels weren't very good, and
well, they were far away. We stayed 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
Okay, you get on a highway, you drive 40 minutes, big deal.
But you live in South Florida.
No, but I mean,
we're different. Like we're used to driving. Like you get like a New Yorker or a Chicago person
they
they have to drive.
Hotel.
Oh my God, they can't. They don't want to drive.
It was like
they got to drive in a car. Like wow, they're used to real public transportation, which is something we lack here. We're not.
We lack. No, although I take the train sometimes. I'm a train guy. I take the Tri-Rail.
Oh, that's right. You can.
I take the Tri-Rail.
Because you have a stop here, dude.
Yeah, I take the Tri-Rail and I take it to the Metro.
Right.
I switch over. It's one stop to the Metro here on the Metro, and I've taken a train all my life. When we used to play hooky in high school.
Problem is that we didn't build this thing out like we should have in the 80s.
No, it's a shame that
you remember what Reagan said about us?
No,
after we built the Metro fail, because that's what we used to call it, the Metro fail. He goes, they were, Miami would have been better off giving everybody just a Cadillac.
You gotta love Ronnie.
Yeah. I love Ronnie. That was,
But when I was a kid,
compared to the clowns we vote in now.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
This is a true story. I don't know this. This kid. I got to go back. When we were in high school, a big train station in New Jersey was right in my hometown. It was called Metro Park. It's the big one. It was, it's monster, And so we would play hooky. We'd go down to Metro Park, jump on a train. So I know how to do the conductor, evade the conductor.
Okay.
You get off and on, and Tri-Rail's so easy. It's got 2 levels. It's so easy. But anyhow, so we'd get to New York City for free. And then you play hooky. And they had a place called the Brew Burger. Remember, the logos were yellow. Now we're like 15, 16 years old. Buy a cheeseburger. It was like $6.99, right? Drink all the beer you want.
Wow.
During lunch. It was like, 12 to 2:30 or something like that. So we're drinking beer for like $6 or $7. It was fantastic. True story. You can't make this up. I'm in New York playing hooky, and there's this guy. I haven't seen a guy in, I'm 64. I probably haven't seen a guy in like 36 years, Tommy Maloney, kind of a goofy kind of guy. There's 4. Did not rat out the other 3 guys. It was kind of nice.
Won't happen in today's world.
Yeah, today's world, they would have paid him a couple bucks.
These kids will rat your ass out like it's nothing. My wife tells me this all the time. Like in high school, like these kids are ratting each other out like it's going out of style, dude.
I mean, anyway.
Like that you did not do that in those days. It's just,
so back to the game. What'd you think of the Super Bowl?
I loved it. It was a terrific. I loved it. I thought it was a terrific game. I didn't have a problem with that call because you put him in that position. So that's it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if they don't call that, he could make that field goal from that distance. Too.
Yeah.
They're making a little bit of a big deal out of that. Right. It wasn't like like a 60-yarder.
The idea is that Philly would have gotten the ball and they had time.
They would have had a minute or so. Yeah, a minute and a half. Yeah.
At least you don't know what was going to happen there. You know what I'm saying? They could have scored. They could have turned it over.
Tied it up again.
They could have gone out in downs and then game's over. And that's
could have been more exciting. Double. Could have been an overtime.
Yeah,
it could have been kind of cool. But
right. That's the part. But again, I have no problem with the way it ended.
It was exciting.
It was a hell of a game.
I mean, when the Eagles, although they kind of, I think they.
I thought Jalen Hurts really played well too.
Except for one play fumbles.
Okay,
That happens.
Crap happens, dude.
Yeah,
but he didn't play a bad game. He played a hell of a game.
Played a very good game.
He played a hell of a game. And so the kid showed up in the biggest moment. So if I'm an Eagles fan, it sucks to lose. But it's got to feel good that you got a pretty damn good team.
You have a very good team.
Found a quarterback. So, dude, you got a shot next year at being again in this game.
They're going to absolutely be in it. I could tell you my opinion on the Eagles, and taking nothing away from Hurts, because I think Hurts is number one weapon for me, and he's a good passer. He's good everything. Good, understands the game, but it's 3rd and 8.
AJ,
and he's got if AJ's not open, he can run.
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah.
There's going to be 3 to 5 times a game where he's not on 3rd and 2. I'm talking about 3rd and 11, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and he runs and gets the first down. I mean that's a weapon and a half, right? Yeah. So I like it. Hurts is great, but taking nothing away from Hurts, I think there's of the 22 starters, and Hurts is obviously a very good quarterback. I think the other 21 guys are spectacular.
Oh yeah. No, it's a great team.
Spectacular.
No, Hurts is not carrying that team. Yeah. Hurts is doing his job, but they are outstanding. They have the best defensive lines and offensive lines in football, although Kansas City's offensive line shut them down, and that was pretty damn impressive.
That was amazing. I was surprised.
Reddick had a year that I don't know if he'll ever have another year like that ever again.
You know what? You bring up Reddick. It's so funny. And I super apologize for missing last week. But had I been here, I would have talked about Hassan Reddick, how he got passed over for All-Pro.
Yeah.
Here's a guy. Oh, he's second team All-Pro. I get it, right?
Well, because this is like he hadn't done this. And that's the problem. And so he kind of had a down year, and then he comes back here.
The down Super Bowl. Right? He didn't play a bad game. He just didn't play a good game, right? So, in my opinion. But I had a different theory before the game. And maybe that theory still proves true. I think Hassan is like, he didn't come from a high-profile pedigree.
Right.
He came from Temple University, so he's not an Ohio State guy. He's not, Alabama guy. And so nobody was really giving him. I thought he deserved a little more respect. Now, he didn't have the greatest Super Bowl, but he had a fantastic season. Led the NFL in sacks, right? 18.5 sacks.
Yeah, no, he was a monster.
They're talking about Nicky Bosa is the greatest thing since ever walked on the planet. Who I like, Nicky Bosa, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, he had 16.5 sacks, and his team didn't get to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So, at that point, I thought Hassan Reddick had a great season. But that's the Super Bowl.
Now, see, and I think having the 16 sacks – and then he bounced around the last couple of years. He had 11 last year, had 12.5. And then his first 3 years, it was 2.5, 4, and 1.
Yeah.
And so now he's kind of found his way. And the one thing you can't take away from the guy is he had 12.5 in Arizona. He had 11 for Carolina last year. And he had 16 this year. So he really, how he was available.
He's a late bloomer, though. You could almost say he's a late bloomer, right?
That's what it is.
I think
it is. It's kind of like the back end of his career now, on early part of his career. It's only 6 years. It's when the light has finally gone on with him. And
he's from New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Hassan Reddick. He's from Haddon Heights. Haddon Heights is a nice little town. Haddon Heights. He's basically Haddon Heights is like a suburb of.
He was born in Camden.
Well. Everybody was born in the hospital in Camden, and the fortunate ones got out of Camden, because Camden's it's literally the shithole of it's one of the shitholes in America.
Yeah,
there's about 10 of them, and it's one of them.
Right?
Maybe there's 5 of them. It's in the top 5. Newark's the other one, and I was born in the shithole of Rahway, and I have to describe not the prison, the hospital. So in New Jersey, you're born in crappy little town, crappy towns like Newark, Camden, and Rahway. But the good thing is that he got out of Camden. Haddon Heights is like there's nobody in Haddon Heights that doesn't say they're from Philly. It's literally
right. I got you.
They probably half the town works in Philly.
Right.
It's like right over the bridge.
Right.
But anyhow, another Jersey guy. Just want to tell you that it's either Florida, Texas. then I tell you, Jersey gives a run for its money for the little state. You know, they have no college. They can't keep their college football players. Rutgers, everybody. They lose.
Yeah, we don't look at that area like football country.
Well, it's not
like
not
for
college.
Yeah, what I'm saying is
it's
there's
pro,
no,
right?
Yeah, it's pro.
Like you know what? You know who's the highest paid public employee in New Jersey, and he's excessively paid. Way too much, I think, and I like him, and he's excessively paid.
The governor,
Greg Schiano.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right.
They gave him a deal.
Yeah, didn't they build him a mansion on the property and everything?
Helicopter. It's insane what they gave him.
Yeah,
and he still can't get Rutgers. Rutgers still suffers from losing the New Jersey local talent.
Yeah,
guys who grew up 5 miles from the Rutgers Stadium, and they go to Alabama, or they go to Michigan, they go to everywhere else. It's sort of a problem.
until you prove that you can become an NFL factory, you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the University of Miami; they lost their mojo.
Wow,
Florida State lost their mojo.
Well, they lost it recently, though. Florida State. I mean,
no, but I was saying now they got it back.
They're trying to get it back.
No, they got it back. They got the 10 wins this year. They got a Heisman Trophy hopeful for next year.
A good defensive coach came to the Dolphins.
Yeah. So no. What do I mean is that for years now, Florida State fell off, and so did Miami. You know what I'm saying?
University of Florida,
Tennessee, up until this year, they were off the map for for a long time. USC fell off the map.
Yes, another
Texas fell off the map.
Oh, Texas had a run there. It was
Nebraska
horrible.
has completely been lost. So think about it, how hard it is for Rutgers to just try to build a program when established programs have lost their mojo and they can't find it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, think about it. If it's hard for USC to get back on track, how much harder is it going to be for Rutgers
to get track,
to get on track? You know what I'm saying?
Like
Tennessee, this was like the first year that
had a
Tennessee
good year.
busted out since Philip
Good coach,
Fulmer, bro.
I mean, different coach.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. But even if you have the resources, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you won't get it done.
But the rap on Rutgers is there's great players in that New York, New Jersey that are leaving and going. They're flying right over the stadium to go to another school, and Schiano was brought back to try to get that.
But he hasn't reached the last window he was at the last time with Rutgers.
No.
Remember, I believe they made an Orange Bowl with Rutgers.
Ray Rice.
Right?
Ray Rice was the running back.
That's what I'm saying.
New York kid from New York.
And then he left to greener pastures. And so if he would have stayed there at that moment,
he could have built it from there.
From that moment on, he had a chance, because once you start getting a couple of NFL players, then you'll start getting more to commit, and then you'll keep doing it, and then you'll build it. USF, they were number 2 or 3 in the country with what was the name of the guy from USF that they fired him because he put a kid in a shed or something, or I don't know what he did to him. Jim Levitt, and Jason Pierre-Paul came out of South Florida.
Yeah.
Selvey and
but they
had like some NFL players that were coming out, and then at that moment he gets fired. Boom. They lost it, and they never were able to recover.
Here's my wrap on Rutgers, and we're going to digress. I want to talk about we're going to talk about boxing.
I get it.
So St. Thomas Aquinas down here in Fort Lauderdale, Davie or Fort Lauderdale, whatever. Powerhouse, right? One of their common opponents is a New Jersey high school.
Bosco.
Don Bosco Prep.
I know.
Right? Don Bosco Prep is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Now, so why can't you got the kids from Don Bosco? Don Bosco plays a bunch of other good schools, and in the area too, not just St. Thomas.
Yeah.
And it's just it's
the weirdest thing.
It's a very difficult task. I understand what you're saying. It's a really good point. I think it's even more than that. I think it's just I don't know. It's a tough task to keep those kids there. But
you're going to need some, and nowadays you're going to need some NIL people that are willing to spend some big ass money to bring those kids there. And it's a different monster now. But New York and New Jersey, they've been able to do it with basketball.
Yeah, but you only need three guys. I know it's a 5-man team, but 3 guys are going to make a very good championship.
But the basketball culture of New York
and New Jersey is big time.
New Jersey is incredibly rich.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so then they've been able to build on that at least a little bit. And still to this, they don't really dominate either. In
Well,
that
you know what
sense,
sucked, though?
considering how crazy it is.
But at one point,
You
and it was
know,
years ago,
St. John's and
yes, but the Big East.
the Big
What
East.
a great basketball conference. Then they broke it down. They broke it up, and they went everybody's else. And
Right.
It's a mess, and
it's weird, man. It's weird how maybe, I don't know if it's such a concrete city that it doesn't allow you to grow certain sports because you need the space for buildings and everything else. You know what I'm saying? It's such a concrete place that
there's a lot of pavement. there's a lot of concrete. Yeah, there is.
It's the
a lot of buildings.
It's the financial focal point of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like they're too busy doing other things that are way more important than to build football universities. And
but
shit
just
like
so
that
you know,
it's not like their thing. It's just
New York.
It's never been that.
New York, the state, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. You got about 40 million people, just shy, about 35 to 40 million people.
I know.
South Florida, what do we got? Like 7 million, maybe. If you include Palm Beach County.
Yeah, but we got a lot of grass,
and
a lot of fields,
and it's nice weather,
and nice weather year round.
Yeah, that's why baseball's such a big thing here.
No,
too.
anything football.
You
can play football all year. You can't do that in New York.
No.
And then if you live in the city, where are you going to play football?
No, but it's the weather too. I'm telling you.
In South Florida, you have a park a block or 5 blocks away from any house. Anywhere there's a
park. In New Jersey, you have a telephone pole with a basketball hoop attached to it and some piece of plywood. And that's what you do. You play basketball, and then you sprain your ankle on the curb. Because it's aligned. It's perfectly aligned. When you jump up, you come down, you sprain your ankle.
I just think it's the lifestyle is different. That it just doesn't it doesn't allow you to infuse that type of culture.
There's another thing too, Big O, and it has to do with like it's weird. If you look at the Southeast schools, Alabama, Auburn's in the middle of nowhere, right? I mean, it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
But that's all they can do.
Yeah, right. So but if you look at Auburn and you look at Alabama, they really have no protein.
No, I know.
It's hours away. Maybe
New Orleans.
Maybe it's New Orleans. Maybe it's Atlanta, right?
It's
maybe.
the Saints, yeah.
Right?
Or actually
Dallas. The guys will be Dallas.
Believe it or not, you still have a lot of Dolphin fans in that area.
But I mean, it's not really
crazy.
There's not really NFL craziness there, but there's college craziness.
Oh yeah, Southeast.
Now in North Jersey, New York, you have NFL craziness.
Yes,
and so you have the NFL is kind of consuming the football fan.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're like, how much football can we take? I guess, it's inverse.
Like I said, they're the financial world. That's why they're so interested.
Yes.
They're betting on it. That's what I'm saying. It's a different culture. It's
you know what,
different.
Though? You brought up sports betting. And I did make a bet on the Eagles. And yes, I lost. And I have to be a man and say that I thought it was a bet the ranch type of bet, but
a lot of people did.
I just didn't happen.
I was a Chiefs guy,
so. But so the sports betting thing. I want to tell you something, Big O.
When are we getting it back, bro?
So I did have a meeting with. We are in an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really call it a partnership, but we are in an agreement with the Seminole tribe. So when they get it, we get it, sort of funneled through them. And one of 3 or 4 pari-mutuels in the state, and there's like 20-some pari-mutuels that, the Seminoles have already, talked to us. I talked to them last week. Everything's, we're ready to go as soon as we can get through this court hearing. I asked the question, how long is it, and the answer is we have no idea. Like the court case is just taking way too long. And it's a sin because it's such an exciting. If you put $100 on a game, it just makes it a little exciting. I usually I'll bet like 50 or 100. Even when I bet 50, if I lose 10 bets at 50, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to be on a street corner with a tin can, right?
It's entertainment.
I'm going to make it. But the game is so much more exciting. Like it's so much more exciting. $50, this is going to make or break me.
No.
And it's so. The answer to that question is, unfortunately, they're working through the process. There is some kind of, at the end of February, something in the court case has to occur. Some kind of hearing is going to occur, and then we might have a little clarity on the timing of it come the end of February. The end of February. So that's the latest news on that one. But I do want to share with you something. I read something. I read all the industry stuff. And sports betting, and I have a theory. Sports betting in the fourth quarter of 2022 was down nationwide. Was down. And there's this thing.
Oh, we were in the back end of the recession there.
Yes, they're saying the millennials
Liquidity was down.
Yeah, the millennials are backing off on
That's why
their wagering.
That's why the stock market was down. That's why Tesla was down $105, and now it's nearly 200.
214 yesterday.
214. So
they go. I bought it at 218. I watched it go to 110. At 110, I told my wife.
That's what I told everybody to get in at 110.
At 110, I told my wife. I said, "Honey, I'm getting in. I'm going to buy. I had X amount of shares. I'm going to buy 2 more lots of that." And to be honest with you, I was busier than crate. Like, you understand. Someday we're going to have a beer.
Yeah.
We're going to have a beer. I'll tell you, it's busy, personal and professional, right?
Right.
And we'll chat about that, right? And I didn't buy it. And then it went so fast. It took like 30 days to go from 108 to 2 something.
Liquidity has kicked in.
Yeah, man.
That's why stocks and crypto have exploded.
Yeah. Well, but crypto went from like 16, 17 to 22, right? I mean,
25.
It's at 25 now?
It hit 25 today.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's big in the last week then.
That's big. Yeah,
I think it was 21 in the beginning of the week.
22, yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I follow it because I know you have an interest, and I noticed that it was yeah. So anyhow,
you put 1,000 when it was 16.5.
You're up 80%. Yeah, 60%.
A little over 50% right now, because it went up 8,500 from 16,500. So it's a little over 50%. You would have 1,500 right now if you put 1,000.
I know, but that being said, I didn't. So, but
whatever.
But sports betting is down a little, which is a little bit odd. I think that.
But not for the year.
No, just the fourth quarter of 2022.
Okay,
just the fourth quarter,
because
not for the year.
It's fun. It's funny because I have that story.
But Big O,
it's one of my KSDT CPA stories.
But Big O, that's NFL season. It's that's NFL time.
Yeah.
And sports betting, in many parts of the country are linked to NFL in a big way. I mean, it's not maybe the majority. It's either the majority or near the biggest.
Last year, legal sports betting, $4.3 billion.
Yeah, it's really. Know who's upset
this year? $7.5 billion.
I mean, it's a big deal. I also think the rush when it first got approved, and it was like a new thing. I know myself. When I got my first online account, I was betting like all the time. And then
I was betting live.
Yeah, I don't like live
Oh
bets.
my God, I was
too
killing
much.
it live.
No, I'm not saying you can't kill it, but
I was killing it live.
But it's too much.
Oh no, it's
I'm
not.
a hyper guy,
No,
and
it's
it seems
not.
like it's too much.
Oh no, it's not. You got to sit with me. No.
But listen, I get distracted. I want to know what's going.
I don't know what it is, man. But I love.
Oh, guys that do it love it.
I love it, and I have a feel for markets or sports when they're bottoming. And when it's time to get in, and so for me, that's kind of been a thing.
People love the live.
And let me tell you, the live, I just knew when the bottom was, this is the one you got to get in on. Boom, ba, ba. And I was killing it in that app, bro. I was killing it with live. God, it was so awesome, man.
No, it's too complex for me. It's like, my God, now my head's gonna explode. Which might be really fun. I mean, it might be a fun time. But
God, it was a lot of fun. It was
anyhow.
I really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping we do get it back. But we got boxing coming back.
Boxing next week.
Yes,
February 24th.
How many tickets can we give away on the show?
Well,
put a will call.
So we could give away this week, and we can give away next week.
How many do I give you this week?
What do you want to give away?
You're the boss, not me. I just take orders. I just take orders around here. You're the boss. Whatever you and Frank.
Frank's boss. So, let's give a couple pair more next week.
Okay, 2 pairs this week.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And more next week. So your listeners come back.
If you guys want to come out to see Guillermo Regandao and several other young Cuban boxers that some could be big-time stars down the line, and you can be here on the 24th of this month, send me a DM, okay? So let's not clutter people's timelines, to Big O Show. My DMs are open, so you can send me a DM and tell me you want to go to the boxing event, and we will pick a couple of winners, and we will put your name at will call. I'm going to need, when I tell you won, then I'll ask you for your personal information so we can verify, obviously, when you come to pick up the tickets. But send me a DM at Big O Show on Twitter and tell me that you want to go to the boxing event on the 24th of this month at Hialeah Park.
Should we make it a little interesting?
What is it? Let's go.
As they are sending you their request, maybe we make them ask about Hialeah Park. Trivia question.
All right, like?
I'm just the idea guy. I don't have the specifics.
How many slot machines do they have here? Do they have over 700, over 800, 900 slots?
And put a number, and the closer you get to it, at the day,
you're gonna give them a free buffet.
I'm going to give them the tickets. I mean, we don't have a buffet.
No, we don't have the buffet, and we're not bringing a buffet this year?
We're doing. Oh no, wait. We're doing. Wait, hold on.
That's the only reason Sean comes.
I thought you meant a restaurant.
He doesn't come for the boxing. He comes for the buffet.
Wait. So what we're giving him? So
you were about to piss him off, bro.
No,
I'm telling you. Look at you. Did you see? He had not moved for like 3 hours.
Yeah, he's got to.
And all of a sudden, we just were like,
mentioned the buffet.
No buffet. Like, whoa.
No. But here's.
I mean, if somebody guesses how many slot machines you have, you got to give them a buffet.
Okay. The number. You got to come around and count the number.
Okay.
As of this Saturday night, how many we have?
Right. Exactly.
No, Friday. This Friday night, because a week from the fight.
Okay.
A week from the fight. Friday night.
I know it's over 700 or maybe over 800 or maybe over 900, but you got to give me that number. If you guess that number, not only will you win a pair of tickets, we're going to give you a free buffet, you and your favorite person that you bring.
The closest one. You don't have to, let's,
okay.
If nobody gets the closest two. The closest two. And it's not like, Wheel of, what's his name?
And by the way,
Wheel of Fortune, you can go over. Under. Yes, it's the over-under concept.
Let me just say something. The buffet is awesome. Okay?
So
I'm just saying. The buffet kicks ass at the boxing event.
Wait, Big O. This week, it's out on the Fountain Terrace, that boxing match, and it's being sponsored by Voli 305, which maybe your listeners know, but Voli 305 is a vodka owned by Armando Perez, the one and only Pitbull.
Oh, okay.
Pitbull has a vodka. He's going to, his vodka, we've been in communication with his people.
He's such a good dude, bro.
He's a nice guy.
Isn't
you know what?
He's like a really cool dude.
He wants to help his friends. He wants to help his city. He's
a 305 all the way.
He wants to help his county. He wants to help everybody he can.
He's a good dude.
And what his lawyer told me? He goes, when I talked to Armando, he has a simple philosophy. If you just put good people together, sooner or later, good things will happen.
I agree.
So anyhow, Pitbull's vodkas 305, Voli, VOLI 305. It's a vodka that we're going to be having out on Fountain Terrace. There'll be a taste test.
There you go.
It's a little buffet of vodka, so to speak. And it's going to be a nice event. That's going to be.
Relax. The buffet will be there.
Yeah, the food will be there too.
Relax.
But we're adding to the food.
Okay, Big O Show on Twitter. DM me if you want to win a pair of tickets, and DM the total amount of machines we have downstairs. It's all the ones on the floor and in the smoking hot slots all together.
Absolutely.
So it's all together. How many machines do we have? Watch somebody come down here and just go.
Oh, I'll be loving it.
And then send it in. And and the one that gets closest to the total machines will win a pair to go to the buffet
and the boxing match
and the boxing match.
So.
Yeah. But you may be stuck in the buffet with Sean after that. When you go, it's just.
I do have one more thing.
What do you got?
I mean, boxing is going to be great next week, right?
Damn right. And we're giving away a car.
Mercedes Benz. I will tell you, I'm not a big Mercedes fan. Millions of people disagree with me. Most people love Mercedes, right?
It's a good car.
I got it. I got in that Mercedes, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It has this. You know what it is?
I'm glad you found that out now.
It's
after 64 years on Earth.
No, but
you have figured out that Mercedes is a pretty good car.
Yeah, no, but it's different now. when I got into a Mercedes 10 years ago, it was nice. You know, I thought it drove a little heavy, but I drove it. Drives with a luxury feel. And really, it's just an iPad. It's an iPad with a steering wheel.
Oh yeah, no,
That's
nowadays,
what it
yeah,
is. That's what it is. That's all it is.
But it's not an electric one, is it?
No, but it's an
okay.
iPad with it.
All right.
It's not electric, but it's just it's an iPad with a steering wheel and a beautiful, nice luxury interior.
It's really nice.
It's unbelievable.
They have it out here. When you come to Hialeah Park, you will see it.
Yeah,
it is really, really
it's a
nice.
pretty
When
one.
you guys give it away at the end of the month, right?
So you earn entries for all of February, all of March. And please believe me on this one.
So
We're
on
giving
the
it away
30th?
on April 1st.
Oh, on April 1st.
I know it's April Fool's Day.
Oh, okay.
And people aren't going to, it happens to be a Saturday. We're giving it away on April Fool's Day.
That's right, because you always do it on a Saturday.
Yeah, so but you can't forget it. April 1st, but you earn entries
throughout
all of
the
February,
next 2 months.
all of March. And come take a look. It's a pretty car.
So every time you play any of the slot machines, you enter into the drawing. So there you go. Every time,
win or lose, you're earning entries.
Right.
Win or lose, you're earning entries.
There you go. So get on down here to Hialeah Park and sign up.
Alrighty.
All right, man.
And I
appreciate you.
Just bringing a whole full circle. Whatever happened to the Brew Burger? It was a great restaurant. When I was 16, I thought it was the bomb.
Have
man.
you been to the Tub down in Miami?
Le Tub?
Le Tub. All right, Le Tub.
Overrated.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Think just the inflection you had there. Like saying,
it's not it's not the greatest burgers or anything, but it's pretty good. I enjoy Le Tub.
Cool and all. It's nice. I was expecting more.
If you want a really good burger in Wynwood, there's a place called the Butcher Shop.
I'll try that.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know why I was expecting more at Le Tub?
Why?
I could get in trouble for saying this. So Oprah Winfrey, I would think she understands burgers.
Right.
Right. At least some point in her life, she understood the burger, right?
Right.
She had voted it one of her favorite places for a hamburger. So I went.
By the way, so did diners, drive-ins,
yeah.
Fieri.
Guy Fieri.
He liked that place too.
Yeah. I guess I was expecting too much. I mean, I expected a little more out of Oprah from a burger
I think it's because it's a different place.
It's odd, with the toilets.
Right.
And,
That's what I think it is. But
it was okay.
But the burgers are solid now.
But the drinks were the plastic cup. I mean, it was kind of weird. It was like
the Butcher Shop.
I'll try it out.
The Butcher Shop in
Wynwood.
Wynwood.
I'm a burger guy.
The Butcher Shop in Wynwood, and you'll remember.
And maybe in my retirement someday, I'll open up a restaurant, call it the Brew Burger. Drink all the beer you want. Get some of those kids that are playing hooky. Come out.
But isn't there like a Brew Burger or something like that? Brew Bowl or whatever?
Yeah, well, every burger.
When we did 1210, right there in Doral, there was it was called Bird Bowl. Oh, Burr Bowl. That's right. Burr Bowl, not Bird. Burr Bowl. That's right.
I'm telling you.
That's what it was.
And as a 16-year-old, it was like really, it was the finest dining on the planet. And you could have beer.
It's a beautiful thing.
Already.
Beautiful thing.
Remember, the drinking age was 21 in New Jersey and 18 in New York.
Really?
Yeah. When I was a kid. When I was,
wow, because it was 18 here.
Yeah.
And when I was turning 18, it changed to 19. And when I was about to turn to
19, I was grandfathered
it went to 21.
I was.
It just moved right around my age.
No, I did the exact opposite. I
mean, it didn't matter because I was going in a club since I was 15. I had a beard since I was 15. So I was walking into Alexander and Mystique and Casanova and any club at 15. So it didn't matter to me. But, it's just
I'm going to digress. You know how naive I was when I was 15? So we lived in North Jersey. You could get to Staten Island in 10 minutes.
Right.
Staten Island's New York, drinking age 18. So we'd hang at the dead end. I lived in this neighborhood which had a dead end. There was a cemetery. Really like high end joint. And there was a little thing of woods. It was like smaller than these 6 tables, right? And we'd hang in the woods there and we'd drink beer. And then I'm naive. I'm like in 9th grade, and they hey, you want some beer? Johnny B. He was the guy that was 18. He was who I may add. Johnny B's mother was my mother's closest friend, and Johnny B was my sponsor in confirmation for the Catholics. Want to know that? Okay, so Johnny B is going to the island, and I'm like, okay, I'll have some beer. for 6 months, I didn't even know what island is he going to. Like, where's he going? And he was going over to Staten Island. They had these giant liquor stores on the other side of the bridge, and he'd buy like a case of quarts. You know what the Budweiser quarts?
Yeah, I remember.
You know what we would pay? They were 65 cents a quart.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We'd have to give Johnny 75 cents.
Right, of course.
Because he needs a dime, for the fuel and
the
stuff.
effort and the fuel, yeah,
for
of
the
course.
effort and stuff,
Of course.
So you're talking to a guy that had that went to Catholic school for 8 years, then had to go to public school. That's a story too. Hey, Ma, I got to pick a high school, Ma. I can go to St. Thomas. How much is that? That's like $3,000. I was talking to the coach from St. Joe's. I'm not really crazy about that. That's all boys. How much is St. Joe's? Oh, that's like $4,000 a year. And then I can go to John F. Kennedy. How much is John F. Kennedy?
Free.
Well, Ma, it's free. It's public. You're going to Kennedy. So that was my educational thing. But you're talking to a guy. Back to my other story. You're talking to a guy who was sponsored in his 6th grade confirmation Catholic ceremony by the same guy who supplied him with illegal beer.
Sounds like a mentor to me.
Old.
Sounds like a mentor to me.
Johnny Bertelson.
That's my kind of mentor right there.
All right, man. Enough's enough. Enough crazy stories.
I appreciate you. Steve Calabro, baby. General manager here at, of course, Hialeah Park. And remember, we've got the fights coming on the 24th. Ali Rodriguez will be there. De La Torres will be there. Lascaya will be there. Some of these young, up-and-coming Cuban boxers. And Guillermo Rigondao. Go to hialeahpark.com. Find out more. You can get tickets. And if you want to win a pair of tickets, you got to send me a DM at Big O Show and tell me you want in. And tell me how many slot machines does Hialeah Park have? And the closest one will win a pair of tickets for the buffet here at Hialeah Park that night. So there you go. Jason, the guest doesn't happen here on the chat board, my brother. You got to go to Twitter, Big O Show. We got a whole bunch of them here guessing, and the guesses have to be on Twitter, bro, on DM. All right, Steve, I appreciate you big time, my man. Thank you so much. There you go. Good stuff as always. All right, let's take a quick break. Hey, you guys can spark it up. Hour number 2. It's 4:20 next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We're back here on the program. David Dwork is set to join us in a couple of minutes. We'll have some fun with him. We'll talk a little Okie overall. Get his thoughts on this pathetic season so far for the Florida Panthers. It's been really, really bad, man. Really, really bad. So as a Heat fan, I watched that crap last night. They lose to the Nets, who are obviously and I know that the Heat were missing a couple of players and all that stuff. Brother, Bam and Butler were on the court. You got to win with Bam or Butler on the court. Not that Jimmy was playing with, let's just say, the enthusiasm that I normally would see him play with. But anyway, 13 points, 6 assists, 2 blocks. No, just 6 assists. 2 blocks was for Bam. And he had 24, 13, and 6 assists in the process. But they just, man. And now what I have to look forward to is Kevin Love. You know what I mean? It's like, Ira's telling me, well, the getting Duncan back. Well, he came back yesterday, 2 of 7. Airball. I mean, this is what I got to look forward to. Yurtseven, who I like the kid, but he's a kid. And he had, several nights of rebounding well, but he never crossed any kind of threshold offensively. And then Duncan Robinson has not ever found his stroke like he had 2 years ago. And so now I'm supposed to expect Yurtseven to be a savior, Duncan to be a savior, Oladipo, who can't stay healthy, to be a savior, and Kevin Love. That's what I'm looking forward to. Man, listen, I love Riles. I want him to stay here forever. I want him to leave whenever the hell he wants to leave. I don't want him to ever leave. Okay? I don't want Mickey Harrison and his family to ever sell the team. I like them a lot. But I got to say, both of you have screwed up a lot lately. And you haven't done a good job of running the team. Not saying you got to get out of here or anything like that, but at least I'm going to be honest about it. And I'm not going to pussyfoot around all of this crap. Since the Big Three, there's been a crap ton of terrible decisions. They tied themselves to 4 deadbeats that tied them down for a couple of years, and they couldn't do anything. And now here you go again. You tied yourself down to a Kyle Lowry. You're in the second year of a terrible 3-year contract, and you weren't smart by extending Jimmy Butler, which that's going to turn into a terrible contract. It's already a bad contract this year because he can't play all the games. And you just can't keep making bad mistakes like Duncan Robinson. That you can't go paying a guy and then make him worthless after that. And now you can't trade him. Now, instead of, hey, you know, Duncan Robinson's salary is pretty manageable at $15 million. We can trade him anytime and pick up a pick and pick up space or use it. No, now you have to use a pick in order to get rid of him. The Dwayne Dedmon deal became a disaster. You had to give away draft capital just to get rid of a deadbeat like Dwayne Dedmon. I got nothing against the people that own the team. I got certainly nothing against Riley. Love them both. But they have been absolute screw-ups here as of late. They keep making one bad deal after another, after another, after another. And then you expect me as a fan to be excited about Kevin Love? When Ira was telling, well, you know, you get Duncan back, I want to hang myself by him telling me that. Oh, no, you'll get Yurtseven back, and that might help you. And there I am shoving bamboo in my nails. And now I'm reading in the paper that maybe they can trade for Kevin Love. And I just want to, you know, gargle peanut butter, fart the Star-Spangled Banner while I'm sitting upside down. Because that's a lot more entertaining than Kevin Love. And I'm watching this just mediocre team last night lose to another mediocre team last night. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with the Miami Heat? And when are they going to start making good decisions? Because they keep making bad and desperate decisions. You got to be desperate, bro, to trade for Kyle Lowry. And then you got to be out of your mind to give him a 3-year, $90 million contract. You have to be absolutely freaking insane to give that man that contract. You're paying him what Toronto should have paid him for his years of service. All he's doing here is stealing money, dude. Just don't sell me bullshit. That's all. Just don't feed me the bullshit. Nature B is for me, baby. And right now we got a great deal. 85 cents a day. Yes. 200 cap supply, which will last you 100 days over 3 months. Only $85, man. Plus, we're going to give you a free Manuka honey lip balm for free. And you're going to love that also. So check it out. Go to naturebee.com/Big O. All right. Use it there. And I've been telling you about Nature Bee for over 20 years. You get all the energy, extra energy in the afternoon. You also, by the way, boost your immune system. That for me, that's the most, that is what is precious to me about Nature Bee. Now, lots of other things, you know, stronger nails, fuller hair, less stress, allergy relief, highlighting libido. I'm telling you, man, there are so many benefits from plant pollen. You can read up on it yourself. And this comes from Clean Green, New Zealand. It is not made in some lab somewhere. No, this is great for you, and it's great for the kids, anybody and everybody. You can't even overdose on it. You can take 400 of them, and nothing's going to happen to you, although you'll boost the hell out of your immune system for a while. No, but all you need is those 2 golden capsules every day. Keep it all natural, folks, and the benefits are absolutely endless. There's a reason why I've been taking it for 20 years. There's a reason why if you've listened to the show, watched the show for 20 years, you'll notice one thing. You'll go, he rarely ever has a cold. Nature Bee. It's my favorite thing about it, man. I rarely ever get a cold because my immune system is always double stacked. And in this virus-filled world, naturebee.com/Big O. 85 cents a day is a joke. 2 golden capsules every single day for the next 100 days. And we're going to give you a free Manuka honey lip balm. You're going to love it. naturebee.com/Big O. All right. Let's switch gears. Let's get on the ice. Let's talk to David Dwork. Yes, sir, from WPLG. Next.
Welton Rayom has more than 60
There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, no Welton Rayom. We'll talk about Welton Rayom soon. They're in Hollywood. How you doing, David? You doing good, my brother?
Always. Good to see you, Big O.
Good to see you, my man. All right, so explain to me what the hell happened to this season. What is going on? You know, we talked about Paul Maurice and the change and that it would be a better suited for playoff hockey, this, that. It's gotten so bad that they have got to fight and claw just to get into the playoffs right now. It kind of feels like Panther seasons of the past where you dig yourself in a hole and then you've got to, desperately climb out to try to get into a playoff spot. What the hell happened, dude? Why hasn't this worked at all?
There's two different questions, but we know why they wanted to make changes. We saw how last year played out. We saw how they got booted from the playoffs the last 2 years. The same team, not really looking close in either series. So they realized that there was a bit of a gap between them and Tampa. And this is a team that they've been building. They want to be a cup contending team. They want to be, the class of the Eastern Conference. And that's what Bill Zito's been trying to build. That's why they went out and they made the big trade last year for Matthew Tkachuk. And they brought in a coach that they feel would have them better suited to go up against the Tampas, the Torontos, the playoff battles to come. It's been a process, as we've seen this year. They're not this high-flying team that we saw last season where they're going to score 5-6 goals a game, open it up, where if they do fall behind, they can come back. This isn't that team anymore. What's kind of, I think, surprised me about this team is they've been able to maintain their scoring fairly well throughout the season. They've been able to score goals, but the way that they've struggled keeping the puck out of the net, and granted, it was a much bigger problem earlier in the season, but it's still one that they have issues with even to now. When the playoffs do arrive, if they're in, what kind of team are we going to see exactly? Because you see like sentiments, you see pieces of this shutdown team that they want to be, this hard against the boards team, this muck up the game. It's not there consistently enough. And it makes me wonder, like they play a game like they did earlier this week in Minnesota, where it's one of the best games they played all year. The effort is amazing.
Decent team too.
Against the team that's really tough to beat in their home building. And then the next night, they were so washed from that game in Minnesota that they had nothing left in St. Louis. And it was acknowledged by the coach after the game. You could just tell that they had nothing left in the tank. So it makes me wonder, for them to play at the level that Paul Maurice needs them to play, to be the team that he wants them to be, what he envisions them to be, a playoff team, how much effort is it going to take them to be that team? Because whenever we see them briefly get to those levels of excellence, it seems like they just kind of it takes them a minute to recoup afterwards. So it just makes me question, where's the consistency going to come from? Because that's when the playoffs start. That's all that matters.
Yeah, they're not physical enough still. That's, when you look at it, that's the thing with that team still. And the goaltending is still not where it needs to be. It needs to be elite every night, and it's not. Unfortunately, Bob obviously has never lived up to the contract that they're paying him. And quite frankly, I'm getting to the point now where, we got some terrible luck. They don't know. They can't draft a goalie. They can't find one. You know how the Dolphins have struggled forever since Marino to find a quarterback, and maybe Tua's the guy if he can stay healthy. But the Panthers can't find them. They can't find and draft and develop their own goaltender.
Well, there's certainly time left on Spencer Knight. He's still young enough. He's not even 22 years old, I don't think yet. So he's been expedited a bit, but there's still a lot of runway for him to work with, I would think. In terms of that. And they did draft Devin Levi, who helped
3
them get
years now. Spencer Knight playing on and off for 3 years. And you've seen a flash here or there, but never really turning how long is it going to take? How long do we wait for the kid? You know what I mean? I know they have another young guy too, but it doesn't instill a lot of confidence with all the failures of the past.
I think with Knight, for now, you're going to let him ride out, and you're going to see how, however long it takes. There's so much potential there with him. And I mean, look, you can't help but kind of side eye a little bit with the way he struggled late last season, but particularly this year, just between injuries and illness. And just hasn't looked comfortable and confident in the net, which even for somebody so young, like you don't want to shake a guy's confidence at that age. So yeah, I would handle it delicately as best I can put it with Spencer Knight. I think the bigger issue, the backup goaltender should not be like a boon to a team, even one that you give a future contract to like they did with Knight. Right now they've been saddled with this albatross of a contract with Sergei Bobrovsky. And yeah, the last week or two played really well. He's put up some good games here and there. Last season, I think maybe the best, most consistent we saw him was in the playoffs and leading up to the playoffs last year. But this is 4 years now, and we're getting bits and pieces of a guy that's maybe played up to that $10 million a year contract. So it's just the kind of thing that they're having a real hard time to get around. And right now they've got $14 million tied into a position that's average at best.
Yeah.
Their goaltending is not winning them games, save for one or two here or there from Bob. And yes, he's, like I said, he's been good of late. But, big picture, it's a big problem.
He has, 3 more years left?
Yeah, after this year.
Whew, that's bad, bro. And let me tell you, Tkachuk has been everything and more. God, I feel horrible for him, because I almost feel like I wish he would have been here last year, at least with this team, because, okay, I know that, the playoffs, they did get past the first round, which was progress, but damn, bro, at least it would have been a lot more fun to watch him with the rest of those guys last year. With this team, it's like I feel like there's just not enough support. You know what I'm saying? Around him at times. And it's just not the same team. You can't count on it. I got to say, Tkachuk has been he's the reason why I watch every night. Really, he's the only reason why I'm like I look forward to a Panther game. Let's be quite honest.
He's elite. He's legit. That was a great move for the Panthers. We've been saying it since it happened. They somehow managed to flip two, turning into their 30s guys into a guy that was just coming into his best years at a cheaper contract. He wants to be here. He's motivated. And I mean, I get where you're coming from and that you feel for him this year, but this is a big picture, both with Tkachuk and with the Panthers. Like they're looking past this year too. And just in terms of like the ceiling that this team can achieve. But yeah, Big O, I
have a problem with that ceiling stuff. We've been talking about this with this team for years now, and I don't know where that ceiling is. I don't know if we already saw the ceiling last year, and that was your peak, and I don't know if I don't know what to expect anymore now. I don't have a lot of hope anymore. That's my thing. That's what the Panthers have kind of done to me the last couple of years here. They've kind of killed that hope that I was kept building for and waiting and waiting and waiting. And, you've now turned over this team more now that it doesn't even resemble the team that you had a few years back. And, I don't know what is the ceiling. What am I hoping for around these guys? Because I can't ask more from Bob and Tkachuk. I mean, not Bob, Barkov and Tkachuk. I need other guys. I need more on defense. I need more in goaltending. That's where's my hope, David? That's what I want to know as a Panthers fan.
Well, the hope is in that you've got your supporting cast of Reinhart, Bennett, Duclair, Ekblad, Forsling. These guys are all locked up for the next several years. Combine that with, you've got Tkachuk and Barkov as well. You're also going to have a lot more money to spend after this season when you're out from under the Yandel buyout, the Darling buyout. Not to mention Patrick Hornquist is going to be his $5 million contract comes off the books this year. There's a couple of like Radko Gudas is a free agent after this year. They're going to have a pretty significant amount of money to spend this offseason, in addition to having a pretty solid core led by Barkov and Tkachuk and all those guys that I mentioned. So in terms of hope, yeah, there's a lot of reasons for optimism past this season. But the way that I always approach that, I think we agree, it's they're not going to have any excuses. They're going to have a lot fewer excuses after this season when they've got all these things lined up. Okay, you've got your core in place. You've got, whatever they're going to do. Because you talk about last season, the guys they lost, like the Marchments, the Drews, they're going to be able to recoup that depth.
Well, I hope so, man.
the excuse going to be? I think it all comes back to the same thing we always talk about, Orlando: goaltending.
Right. And dude, when do they get an elite goaltender? When's that going to show up? Because without that, I don't know if we ever watch them get to a point where you and I want to watch them get to that hardcore Panther base that's here, that's been there with them every year. Those people deserve, to watch a team that can really take it to the next level. But my brother, until that dude between the pipes becomes, unstoppable, that's never going to happen. I mean, that's what happened in the 90s when Beezer was unstoppable, that he was on his head the entire time. The Panthers were at their best. So when's that going to happen?
If they build the kind of team that they're hoping to build, it's not going to take a Vezina quality goaltender. It's going to take a solid, consistent goaltender. You look at last year with the Avs, that they finally dethroned Tampa. They did it with Darcy Kemper as their goaltender. And Darcy Kemper, solid goalie, no doubt. He's not an elite goaltender. He's not a Vasilevsky.
Although he did play his ass off in that series that way.
No doubt. But that's what I'm saying. He played solid, consistent. That's what the Panthers will need with the team that they're looking to, that they've already started building. They don't need amazing. They don't need Vasilevsky. They just need a guy who's not going to make them bang their head into the wall with cheap goals every game. They need consistency. Is it on the roster? 14 million, you hope so.
I hope so, man. But I have not seen it. All right. I think they're without Ovechkin. Who's missing for the Panthers tonight?
Sam Bennett, he's out. He left late in the second period in St. Louis with an undisclosed injury. Paul Maurice said it's something he's dealt with in the past. He's not particularly concerned it's long-term, but kind of gave that, that kind of coach speak where you're not really, there's a lot of vagueness. So I'm not too sure until we see him back here and see if he's skating, if he's practicing, see if it's lower upper body. But for now, Sam Bennett is out, which sucks because his line with Carter Verhaeghe and Matthew Tkachuk has been carrying the offense at times over the last few weeks. They've definitely been consistently great. So you wonder who's going to step into that role. I would imagine it's going to be Eetu Luostarinen, who filled in for Barkov pretty well when Barkov was out with what we thought was a hand injury last week. So, that depth that just gets sliced a little thinner and thinner behind the deli counter, just gets a little bit thinner tonight.
Paul Maurice, your thoughts on what he's done this year? Because one of the things I've kind of noticed was that at the beginning of the year, even post-game shows, there was a lot of confidence. As of the last, month or two, I've seen a lot of excuses in a lot of the post-game press conferences. So your thoughts on the job that Paul Maurice is doing, trying to instill his style and trying to get results from it?
It's really hard to gauge, Orlando, just because looking statistically at the analytics, Florida has been the most unlucky team in the league this year in terms of the offensive output, the expected goals that they're putting forth, and the actual production that we're seeing on the score sheet. It's not matching up at all. And is that just an unlucky thing? Does that have anything to do with coaching? It's hard to quantify it. The players have seemed like they've been unhappy. There were times earlier in the year, we referenced like Matthew Tkachuk kind of calling out some of his teammates, saying that we're not skating hard enough, or the intensity, whatever it was he said, like back in November. It's hard to gauge it at this point, just because it's tough, man. Like when I try to put it into words, for me, it just keeps coming back to the same thing where like one game you'll see greatness and one game you'll see not greatness. You'll see blah. When you don't see it game after game, that's where I start to question, okay, well, is it the coaching? Is it a motivational thing? Is it a lack of understanding of what the coach is trying to teach? Or is it just simply the players aren't performing well? I don't have that answer right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to like clean it up better for you, but I really don't. It's hard for me to tell.
Yeah, I can't say I've been impressed with Maurice so far. 7:00 tonight, Panthers and the Capitals. Let's see if the boys can get on track and get the victory. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. Of course, tell him about Chirping the Cats, dude.
Chirping the Cats, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, you can find it there. All my written work goes on the local10.com website. And as Big O said, all my stuff at David's Work on Twitter. Big one tonight, oh, if they win, they'll be tied with Washington for the last playoff spot. Somehow, some way, they're still right there.
I know they're still right there. I just I want them to turn the corner, man. I want them to be really, really good. David, as always, my brother, hang in there. Enjoy the hockey, my friend. I'll be watching tonight.
At the casino.
Yeah, damn right. I'll be enjoying it from the casino. All right, my brother. Be good. Thank you. You got it. David Dwork, baby, talking little Panthers. It's just frustrating, man. It's frustrating. You know, the Heat has accomplished stuff. They've won titles. They've given us a ton of winning seasons. So that's why I never, you're never going to hear me say, "Oh, Riley's done. The game passed him by. Mickey Harrison sell the team." No. Now, am I unhappy with their results the last about 10 years? 8 years? Yeah. I don't like the decisions they've made the last 8-9 years. Yeah. But again, they have done so much. Even in those 8-9 years, they made it to the finals one year and almost made it to the finals again last year. Even throughout all of that, they've still have done things because Eric Spoelstra's a badass. But the Panthers, they gave us that magical season last year, or the magical regular season. And then at least in the postseason, they did get past the first round, but we wanted more from that team. When you've got the best record in the league, you would hope to be better overall in the playoffs. But they haven't done enough of that. And so when you come back this year with this kind of an effort, it brings me down, And right now, the Heat are depressing and the Panthers are absolutely depressing. The only reason tonight is fun to watch, it's because I get to watch Tkachuk do his thing. And he's worth the watch. It's like Marlins, right? Sandy Alcantara's pitching, you're there. We're all watching, right? Some guys can change the outlook for you, but not the results, because it requires a team. Fart the Star Spangled Banner. Can you do that, Big O? Of course I can. Oh, tell us how you really feel about the Heat. Yeah. I hope you guys picked up on it. Big O, Britt Baker lost yesterday, apparently, huh? So I had a bad prediction yesterday.
Ruby Soho won.
So Ruby Soho won the threesome.
Yes.
Who'd she pin?
She pinned Britt Baker, I believe it was. Yeah, because she threw Toni Storm out of the ring. Yeah.
Okay.
Because she threw Toni Storm out of the ring, which took out Paige as well, or Soraya, sorry. And then she got the pin.
Okay. Dougie Fresh says, Oprah Knows Burgers might be the most honest mention ever on the Big O Show. Charm City Burger, Deerfield, legendary. Never been there. Got to check it out. If I make 10 bets at $50, I will be telling everybody at the table what my name is. Bond, James Bond. Big O, shout out to Bill Preston's sister, Dawn. It's her birthday today. Oh, really? I did not know that. Happy birthday to Dawn. Let's see. What else? Oh, rocking that old OMD shirt, 80s representing. But the shirt is not from the 80s. It is a newer shirt. But yes, it is OMD. So there you go. Says we ended up losing the sound. When was that?
We lost the camera when he slammed down.
Oh, okay. I got you. But we're back. By the way, Sloman's Home Shield been serving Americans for over 100 years. And folks, right now we are going to give away 40 doorbell cameras. That's right. And when you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring, we're going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. So if you've been looking to improve your home safety, call the great people at Sloman's. We're in 14 different states, so we could be close to you. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Sean uses it. I use it. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Go check it out. And we're still in wintertime. It's still cold in a lot of states, right? So if in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, maybe Northern California, Maryland, Virginia, even Georgia, you need heating oil. Well, Sloman's does it. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. And check this out. They have fixed prices, so you can save hundreds in the long run. Do it now. Tell them that you're a big O loyal listener right now. And if you think you're paying too much for heating oil, call 1-866-OIL-DEAL and just compare. You know what you're paying for heating oil. Call 1-866-OIL-DEAL and compare. And if it's less, you can make the switch and save yourself money. Call the great people at Sloman's, taking care of Americans for over 100 years. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Right. All right. All right, we got Tim McCarver passing away, unfortunately. By the way, did you see Mark Davis? Mark Davis has a new look. And I got to congratulate Mark Davis here. Because if you remember, Mark Davis has had that terrible bowl cut, right? It's like they put a bowl and they just cut the hair, and he looked like Lurch, basically, right? He looked like a short, red-headed Lurch with freckles. And so it was a terrible, terrible haircut. And Mark Davis felt like he needed to change things up. And to his credit, he has changed it up. That's right. You know how he changed it up? Shaving off all, now sporting a bald look. And guess what? A hell of a lot better than his hair. See? There's the Mark Davis look. Goes with him, right? Looks way better. That haircut was terrible, dude. It was one of the worst haircuts on the history of the planet. It just made him look so foolish. Now he kind of looks like a boss. Before he looked like some schmuck that mom, cut his hair. Or something like that. He's winning awards for GQ or anything like that. But the bald look, it suits him perfectly, man. Yeah. There's the hair. Oof. That was bad, bro. That was bad. That was terrible, that hair. Look at that bowl cut. It's pretty bad. Good for him. Good for Mark Davis. That's a sharp look for him. Not all of us can throw, eventually we're all going to bald, right? I mean, we're all going to lose our hair, but not all of us have, the bald head look that we can actually sport it. You know what I'm saying? I'm afraid. I don't even know if I could actually ever have the bald head look. I don't know. I'm almost afraid that I'm going to have like all these bumps and craters and everything on my shave it all off. It's going to go, whoa, put a wig on, that kind of stuff. So you got to have that magic bald head where it's even out and all that. Your head's all deformed and stuff. The bald look is not good. But Mark Davis, he's pulling it off, man. Nice job by him. Got to give him a lot of credit. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? You know what? When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Legal sports betting has become more prevalent across the United States, as you all know. Commercial sports betting revenues hit an all-new, all-time high at $7.5 billion in 2022, a whopping 72.7% increase from 2021 of $4.3 billion. This, according to the data from American Gaming Association. Legal sports books handled $93.2 billion in bets last year, another record and a 61.1% increase over the 2021 handle, when the tribal sports betting handle reported later this year that number will likely surpass 100 billion. The industry, by the way, got a boost from the additions of legal betting in markets like Kansas, and the launch of mobile betting in Louisiana, Maryland, and New York. The latter led all individual states with 1.4 billion last year in New York. The other states passed $500 million: Illinois, 795, New Jersey, 763, Pennsylvania, 597. All but two markets increased their handles last year. Delaware, negative 32.3%, and Mississippi, negative 9.2%. The year also finished strong with a quarterly record of $2.54 billion in quarter four. That's a 63% year-over increase and a 51% from the previous record of $1.68 billion set in quarter three of 2022. So incredible stuff. Since PASPA was struck down in 2018 of May, American bettors have placed $190.3 billion in wages, creating $14.6 billion in sports betting revenue and $3 billion in state and federal taxes. That's a lot of money being laid on the line. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Little music news. Depeche Mode, by the way, has announced their 2023 fall schedule on their U.S. leg, coming up supporting their new album, Memento Mori, which comes out March 24th. The second leg kicks off September 21st in Mexico City and runs through December 15th in Los Angeles, comprised of 29 shows and more than 70 dates. And for those of you trying to find out, LA, March 28th, December 10th and 15th. Vegas, March 30th and December 1st. Chicago, April 5th and November 13th. New York, April 14th and October 28th. And in Orlando, October 10th. And in Miami, October 12th. So if you want to go see Depeche Mode, those are some of the cities. If I didn't mention your city, you can go out and check it out. And also, one more thing before we go to hour number 3 and start it off with Alan Poupart and our Miami Dolphins report. Today on February 16th, Led Zeppelin in 1972 made their live Australian debut, and they kicked off a 6-day tour in Perth. Fans were pretty excited to see the band. In fact, police had a battle with 500 of them who rammed the locked gates trying to get into the show. When the band played, 4,000 fans stood outside the venue just trying to hear the group. In 74, Bob Dylan started a 4-week run at number 1 on the album charts with Planet Waves, his first number 1 in America. In 74, ELP, known as Emerson, Lake and Palmer, they were arrested while on tour in Salt Lake City. The guys decided to go for a swim in their hotel pool naked. They were each fined $75 too. And in 2005, Kid Rock was arrested for allegedly punching a DJ at a Nashville strip club. Police were called, but the singer got out of the club before they arrived. Later, during the eventful night, Rock was pulled over by an officer who got an autograph but didn't give Rock a breath test, even though the cop smelled alcohol. The officer was later fired, and police eventually caught up to Kid Rock and booked him. He was taken to night court and released on $3,000 bail. There you go. Right. The only thing is, was Margie Post there at Night Court? That's the only thing, because if Margie Post is there, arrest me every night. Hour number 3 is next. Alan Poupart.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on a Big O radio show.
All right. We're back, ready to rock. Hour number 3. There he is, ready with the Expos hat. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm doing good. Marquee Post, by the way.
Marquee, yes. I said Margie. Marquee, somebody, Troy, what's it called? Corrected me on that. But nobody will argue she was smoking hot. So
very attractive woman. Yes, she was.
Very, very. Have you seen the new Night Court?
I have not, and no. It features.
It only has Larroquette. And it has the girl with the high-pitched voice from the
from the Big Bang Theory, which was a fabulous show.
Yeah, which was an incredible show. What's that?
Melissa Rauch.
Yeah, she doesn't use the voice. Yeah, she doesn't use it as high-pitched or anything like that. But
that's not a normal voice. The high pitch is not a normal voice. She did it for Big Bang.
Right, exactly. And so yeah, it's not good. It's not good. There's you don't have the smart-ass bailiff. You don't have Bull.
No Harry Anderson.
Yeah, no Harry. And Harry and her are completely different. She's trying to be Harry because she's Harry's daughter, by the way.
Oh, is she? Okay.
She's Harry's daughter. So yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes to give it a chance, and
didn't grab you, huh?
No, dude. No. I don't think I even laughed once.
That's Last of Us for me. I tried it because of everybody's ranting and raving about it, and I'm sorry, it does nothing for me.
For what? Which one? What are you talking about?
Last of Us on HBO.
Oh, okay. All right.
Does nothing for me. And I know everybody's ranting and raving about it. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Sorry. I
Right.
don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just kind of the way. Hey, a lot of people brag about White Lotus or whatever. I watched
That's a
it.
great show. That's a great love White Lotus.
I wasn't that impressed with it.
Okay. All right.
You know, I wasn't that impressed with it overall. You know, I just thought it was considering the reaction from people. I thought it was a little bit, you know, I get it when they went crazy about Breaking Bad. Okay, I'm good with that, and Sons of Anarchy or something. But this one, it didn't rock me like Sopranos did. Up until about season 5, I think Sopranos. Then I think it kind of started jumping the shark. I think in season 5 on or something like that. But either way, I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. All right, so let me ask you, drama in the Dolphins. Are you surprised Danny Crossman survived? Because I think we would all be maybe in conjunction say that out of the 3 coaches, I know there was complaints about Boyer, but I think we were all like, okay, some of us could argue about Boyer, but I think we all agreed that Crossman didn't do a very good job, but yet he survives. So your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm not so sure exactly what the gripes were on Boyer. If the argument for keeping Danny Crossman is that there were a lot of injuries on defense that forced guys to get away from special teams, maybe play more on defense, and that affected their play on special teams, then why are we not making the same argument for Josh Boyer on defense?
Well, he already had the Fangio thing. So I really think the Boyer thing for the Dolphins is not so much really about Boyer. It was that they already had the Fangio thing, and my God, okay, you can go get one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. You go get one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. I think that was the thing, but I think you're right in the argument of fans.
No, but for anybody who might say that, well, Boyer deserved to be fired. No, I don't think he did. But had the Dolphin defense completely kicked ass again in 2022, maybe he gets another shot. But it's tough to completely kick ass when your scheme is predicated on having 2 complete stud cornerbacks. One doesn't play all year, and the other one's not right physically all year.
Right.
Good luck with that. So, yeah, and again, I think if there was a stud special teams coordinator who was available somewhere, I think we might be having a different conversation right now. I mean, it's not Danny Crossman's fault that Jason Sanders dipped again after a slight dip in 2021 from 2020 when he was the best kicker in the NFL, and then he got an extension and he hasn't been able to follow up on that. Not that for in his defense, that's not Danny Crossman's fault. The one problem area was they gave up a lot of returns and they didn't have one single long return until the playoff game when Cedric Wilson had the 50-yarder.
Right. Yeah. No, I just find that one kind of surprising. Or it also could be that he didn't find a coach that he was comfortable with on the special team side that he knew that he could hire. Whereas obviously there was some connection with Fangio already. So that was already rumored from last year. And it looked like the old man, you can tell that this is one of those kind of dudes that does whatever the hell he wants to do, whether you like it or not. And I bet he really wanted to, sit out for a year and not really coach. And then this whole thing, when he agreed to a deal, probably it was his agent that opened his mouth. And he's like, yo, man, I'm committed to this team. I'm not ready to talk about another team until I'm done. So this is a dude that looks like he's really set in his ways.
Well, and he's got the track record for it. But listen,
we lost.
Free reign of hire whoever you want to hire last year after he took over. I think Vic Fangio would have been the DC in 2022. It was kind of like however you want to frame it, whether he was literally told, no, keep Boyer around, or I think we'd like to keep Boyer around. It's your call, but I think we're like, and then however you frame it, it was kind of like in that direction. No, Fangio's got the track record. I mean, he produced major results in Chicago and major results in San Francisco. Again, as I want to caution, absolutely everybody should be stoked about it. Major reason for optimism. Let's not pretend like he didn't have stud players on those 2 defenses.
Yeah.
And they're the talent level or it needs to come up a little bit on this Dolphin defense if we want to start thinking about a top 10 defense, or everybody has to play at max capacity?
No, they can't be a top 10 defense until they have a werewolf in the middle. Until they get a middle linebacker, they're not going to be that, because whenever the Dolphins have had a great defense, there's been a Zach Thomas or a Nick Bonacani, in the middle. That's kind of the way it's gone. It's kind of the history of the game, period. Whether you've got the Bears, well, then there's Singletary. You know what I'm saying? Almost every great defense has great linebackers or a great middle linebacker that's kind of running the show. And by the way, because of this guy's scheme, he's going to need a werewolf in the middle. So to me, that's going to be priority number one for Vic Fangio and that front office, is finding that linebacker. And I think there's going to be a revamp of these linebackers, not the two outside guys, but everything else inside, Baker and Roberts and all these other guys. I think you're going to see a lot of changes when it comes to that position.
No, I agree. And they have like 3 or 4 of them are UFAs who were UFAs last year, and they all brought back on 1-year contracts. Landon Roberts, Duke Riley, Eguavon, I think Brendan Scarlett's another guy that they brought back. I don't necessarily see that happening. Duke Riley is good because he's a very good.
I like him as a last linebacker.
Correct.
Teams and it's kind of like that. I can see a role for him there, but you need more two-way linebackers on that. I love what Landon Roberts did, but he's got an enormous hole in his game. He can't cover, and you just can't have those kind of players out there. You just can't.
No, and if you look at his teams in San Francisco, they had Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis, and then his team in Chicago in 2018 when he was NFL Assistant Coach of the Year. Well, he had Roquan Smith.
Yep.
And the Dolphins don't have that guy. I had somebody suggesting to me like maybe Jerome Baker could take a big step with it. I'm not seeing it. I think
not who he is. It's not who he is.
No, I think Flores actually maxed out Jerome Baker.
I got into with Marcel about, Tua has to learn to be more off the cuff. And I'm like, no, bro, that's not who he is either. He ain't going to be running around and creating extra plays for you. That's not who he is. Make a goddamn decision in the pocket, and that's it, kid. It's over. That's it. Move on, like a lot of other statue quarterbacks. That's what you got to do. That's who you are. Jerome Baker will be run over in the middle when he's trying to fight off blocks or trying to sift through the trash or traffic or whatever you want to call it. He's not a physical linebacker. That's not who he is. And he's all of a sudden not going to become a physical linebacker. Sorry, it's not his game.
No, I completely agree. And I don't know if you heard me what I said before, is I think Flores completely maxed out what Jerome Baker could be as a linebacker.
I agree.
Send him on the timely blitzes and all that. Have him run sideline to sideline, but he's, like you said, he's not a guy who's going to be an anchor in the middle of a defense.
Weak side guy, blitzer, cover a little bit out there. He's not the run stuffer, man. That's just not who he is. He never was that guy. And I'll tell you what, I give a lot of the guys that I talked to in the offseason, they nailed him perfectly because they told me from the get-go that he wasn't ever going to be a physical guy and fighting through tackles and breaking blocks, busting up blocks and tackling behind the line of scrimmage. That's not who he's ever been, unfortunately.
He's not built like that. He's built like an oversized safety more than a linebacker.
Exactly. Yep, I'm with you there. So, have you studied? I mean, it's unfair. I don't really like to get too much into free agency, but is there a name or two out there that could get Dolphin fans excited and would fit Fangio's scheme?
I've got 2 names that's possibly that jumped out at me when I actually looked over Tremaine Edmonds.
Buffalo.
Again, they'd have to make it work financially, obviously. And then again, this idea of like they don't have cap space, it can't be done. No, it can be done. You can find it. He's a guy I find intriguing. And who knows, he might be interested in the idea of if the Bills make it clear they don't want to re-sign him, maybe he's going to want to have revenge on his mind. And his father played for the Dolphins. And the other guy is the guy went to Miami Northwestern, and that's Levante David.
Yeah,
who's a little bit older, but he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be a big contract. That's the good thing about that one. That would be a stopgap for a year or two, and then And then you hope to draft his replacement. You know what I mean? To kind of groom him under him or something like that. Unless you feel Tyndall can still be that guy.
I have to see something. I didn't see anything I liked last year. I'll be honest with you.
I don't think he has the size to play that position.
No, he's another guy. He's another one of those guys who needs to run around. His speed is his forte.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I really wish I was.
Believe it or not, I think he could be Baker's replacement.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, and he's going to be a lot cheaper than Jerome Baker.
Right, and you can kind of use him in the same way on passing downs, on long downs, things like that, short yardage stuff. Then that's where you're probably going to need to change things up a little bit more. But yeah, I think he might fill that weak side linebacker role a little better, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
No,
All depends. But what do you do with Phillips and what's it called? And Chubb. I mean, Chubb. Are both locked in as your outside linebackers?
If you line up as a 3-4 front, yeah, those are your two edge rushers.
So then we're looking at Tyndall being your weak side inside linebacker. Then,
yeah,
is that the way you would look at it?
Or in passing situation, because it's not. It's. I mean, we talk about 3-4. It's not going to be 3-4 all the time. I mean, even like what the Dolphins did the last few years, there are times when they clearly show it's a 4-man front, and then you have.
Then you can put Jalen Phillips on the line. Then at that moment,
generally speaking, yeah.
Right, you could. Yeah. I mean, in times because you're going to have a 3-man front, and it'll be Wilkins, Sealer, and Raekwon.
Correct.
But then Agba has got to be kind of that fourth guy in that rotation.
Correct.
Right? Imagine, you know.
He's kind of like, I mean, if you want to use that terminology, I mean, Agba's kind of a pure 4-3 DN. When they had Agba in the lineup, they lined up more 4 across.
Because that's more what he is. Correct. I don't think he will excel nearly as much. Just like Jalen, I don't like him in a 3-4 end. I don't think
he's going to be 3-4 OLB.
Yeah, I don't think that benefits him at times to be out there. So, yeah. All right. So, special teams. The other thing, it's so we talk about running back, we talk about middle linebacker, we talk about a tight end that fits this scheme, two-way tight end, all these kind of things that are obvious. What kind of importance do you put on returner? Because if I want to defend Danny Crossman in one thing, you took away his returner. He had a Pro Bowl returner in Jakeem, and so you've lost that, a guy that was a game changer at any time that he touched the ball on special teams. How important is it to get that element back to that special teams unit? Because they don't, I mean, God bless Cedric in the playoffs that he got that long one, but again, that's not his game either. So how important should it be for them to find that shifty dude that I would imagine with today's roster limits, and because you've got to carry that third quarterback probably, you're going to need a guy that is a kick and a punt returner.
Yeah, but it's almost like the kickoff returner is like, I mean, for Christ's sake, I think it
goes through the end zone.
Everything's a touchback, so it's like, and the punt returns, I think for the most part around the league were fairly insignificant. It just so happened that it seemed every long return was against the Dolphins, which is where the major problem was. I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ, there's so many of them. So yeah, it would be nice. I don't know that it certainly doesn't top for me a linebacker,
no,
another DB, another O-lineman, a tight end, unless the Dolphins think Tanner Conner and Hunter Long can get the job done.
Do you think Hunter Long and Tanner Conner can get the job done?
I'm very intrigued by Tanner Conner, even though I didn't like the fact that basically
dropped everything.
Well, no, 2 out of 3. I mean, his catch percentage is not very good. 333 will get you in the Hall of Fame in baseball, but as a receiver, not going to get it done. But there was something intriguing about him. Hunter Long, I want to be a believer, but I got to see something.
Yeah. There just hasn't been enough with Hunter, unfortunately. to believe in. What are you working on over at Sports Illustrated at alldolphins.com, my friend?
I put up not too long ago something about Trill Williams and his place in the secondary along with his rehab. And I'm about to publish very soon. Quick look at where Tua stands in NFL MVP odds for 2023, as well as where he was placed on the NFL.com list of ranking of quarterbacks.
See, that's the kind of quality I want to read about the Dolphins. Not, we should explore Lamar Jackson. I mean, come on, bro. Like,
No, here's the thing, but and then I'm going to use your platform to make this point because I took some flack for writing a story about exploring somebody throughout. They were talking about potential fits for Derek Carr. And since a national media member threw it out there, I presented it and explored it. And basically my point was like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I still took flack for like, why are you writing about this and all that? I'm making the point. It's somebody who's got a major national platform who threw it out there on Good Morning Football. Derek Carr for the Dolphins, a good fit. And I'm like, really? How does that make sense? Either from the Dolphin standpoint or from Carr's standpoint.
Right.
But it's out there, just like the Lamar Jackson thing. It's going to be addressed. I'm going to address it at some point because it's out there, whether we like it or not. It's out there. It's not just. I mean, there are odds. Odds makers put out odds, and for next team for Derek Carr, you don't see the Dolphins anywhere. For Aaron Rodgers, you don't see the Dolphins anywhere. For Lamar Jackson, the Dolphins are on the list. They're not among the top teams, but they're on the list. And then you had the story in The Athletic where an executive anonymously said he could see Lamar to the Dolphins.
Right.
So I'm not just saying the guy's right. I'm saying it's out there.
No, I get it. But it's like, for those people that write that, it's like, okay, did you watch Mike McDaniel's offense? That's not what Lamar runs. He can't run that offense. That's not who he is. Plus, you would have to trade picks, which they don't have a lot of picks. And then he's going to want a big-ass guaranteed salary, something you don't have to give to anybody right now because the guy you have is still under a rookie contract. So you don't have resources, but you want to use the only resources you have left to acquire a guy and create more cap problems for you down the line. And then you've got to change the entire offense. On top of all of that, everything that you were running, now you throw it out the window because it's a completely different offense that you're going to be running. I don't think people realize the amount of change that would have to take place in order for you to acquire Lamar Jackson.
But you forgot one other thing also.
What's that?
If you're moving from Tua right now, the issue being that you're concerned for his long-term, durability. Lamar Jackson's missed 5 games each of the last 2 years.
He misses 4 games.
Quarterback who's going to break down at some point.
Right.
So where's the logic that
there's no logic to it.
If you're acquiring somebody who's rock solid, is not going to have injury issues. Okay, but Lamar Jackson's not, and the other factors you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's really the guaranteed contract and what you would have to give up for him.
Makes no sense. Dolphin fans, make sure you bookmark it, alldolphins.com, so you can catch all of his work there at Sports Illustrated. He is Alan Poupar. Alan, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you immensely. We will catch up next week.
Have a great weekend.
You got it. There you go. Alan Poupar and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. And don't forget to reach out to the great people at EJD Construction. Eric does a phenomenal job. 305-433-4843. In fact, they were at my house today doing some stuff. They are just absolutely phenomenal. They rebuilt our fence. They did everything, dude. They did an amazing job. They can do for you guys the same thing. I know that a lot of our listeners in Dade and Broward County, because it's only Dade and Broward. I'm sorry for those of you that have called them from Palm Beach. My mistake. 305-433-4843. We got a lot of listeners because they're trying to redo their insurance now, their hurricane insurance, and the companies are telling them, wait a minute, we need your roof upgraded. We need it inspected to make sure it passes code. And there's a new level that you've got to reach for your roof now. So when you do renew, you might get asked to get it inspected. Call EJD Construction. They can bring it up to code. So that way you can get your new policy, save yourself some money. 305-433-4843. Hey, listen, we're talking about custom home construction and major home remodeling. One of our listeners built an observation deck. Another listener built this whole hut in the back. It's not like a tiki hut. It's nicer than a tiki hut, actually. It looks really cool. And it has like a full kitchen, barbecue, grease trap. I mean, all kinds of things. Another one of our listeners had a fire in their home. They had to remediate everything and gut it all out. EJD Construction did all of that for you. 305-433-4843. You got to build a second floor. You got to build a new room. You got to expand the home. You got to modernize the kitchen. EJD Construction can do all of that, and they do shell construction in-house. That's how they keep the cost down. 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
By the way, I'm going to take a guess, Cap for Life. Here's my guess. Agba will be on the team, I think, for one more year. It's a 3-year deal. I think they can get out of it after next year. I don't think they want to take the extra cap hit that they have to this year with that move. I don't think so. Now, who knows? And Chris Greer can trade, bro. So he wheels and deals like crazy. But I expect Agba to be on the team and be part of the rotation and then eventually get phased out next year. That's what I think will happen. Okay. And also asking, speaking of Zeppelin, any chance that reunion, brother, Plant won't do it? They have it set up. They had it set up. I don't think it's set up anymore, but they had it set up where they had 10 dates in the U.S. and 10 dates in Europe, and no dice. He won't do it. Plant has become like, I don't know, bro. He's like an ogre about his Zeppelin stuff, dude. It's funny because, the Alison Krauss stuff is nice and all that, but, brother, it ain't shit compared to what you did with Led Zeppelin. Okay? It ain't shit compared to even your solo stuff. Little by little, and what's it called? It's the log song, whatever. In the mood for a melody, I'm in the mood. Burning down one side, all that stuff that he did in his solo stuff in his early days. That shit was awesome. Way better than anything that he's got going on now. It's funny because he doesn't even tour to do his solo stuff. Now in Zen, Manic Nirvana, Pictures at 11, all those albums from his early days, he won't even do that. And that music is, now that I think about it, when I get in the car today, I'm going to do a little Robert Plant solo on the way home and listen to some of that stuff because it's so good, man. So good. Okay. Bitcoin, by the way, down to 24,386 after hitting 25,000. So remember what I tweeted this out a little while ago. Not a little while ago, a few hours ago already now at this point. But because everything's gone so parabolic. And so I wanted to remind people, again, I am not a financial advisor, but I said, while crypto is climbing a ton, not a financial advisor, just a guy that loves crypto, buying during a parabolic run, no good. Floors will develop. Bitcoin and other altcoins will consolidate and capitulate as investors who bought early sell for profits. And that's what you have now. Think about it. Think about this. If you had $10 million and you put 10 million in a Bitcoin at 16.5 and it went up to 25, you now have 15. So you're just going to pull your money out and you just picked up $5 million like nothing. So that's going to bring the price down, and that's where it's at right now. It hit 25, now it's at 24.4. Why? Because there are people that got in early and they're selling. And do you blame them? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if you put 1,000, you have 1,500 now. You can take that out if you want, or you can just sit on it and wait and then let it grow even more, because it's going to grow more. It's going to go to 30. It's going to go to 40. It's going to go to 50. It's going to go to 70. It's going to go to 100,000 eventually. It's going to go over 100,000. You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure. And look, now it's capitulated. Now it's come down. So you wait, and you wait for something to go down. See, if you haven't gotten in, now you want to wait for something to come back and then get back in. You may not get it at the low where it was. You're not going to get it at 16.5 anymore. Hell, I wish. I wish there was another scare or dip or whatever, man. I don't care for me, because I'm in it for the long haul, you know? So just make sure you do it responsibly. Plant Solo is fantastic. I agree, Giovanni. Cameron Good, not something that you count on. I like him. I like what I saw from Cameron Good, but still, he's got to build on. He needs to show more before we, say, oh, hey, let's count on Cameron Good. You know what I'm saying? But I like what I saw from the kid overall. I thought he would make the 53-man roster. I was wrong on that one. I thought he was going to make it. Cap for Life says, when is the next crypto? Bro, I think it's time I start enhancing my portfolio. I wish you would have enhanced it a month and a half ago when we were in our lows. And I kept telling everybody, buy the dip, buy the dip. I mean, think about this. Polygon, December 31st, was 75 cents. It's $1.44 now. You almost doubled your money in a month and a half. It's nuts. So a lot of you that were able to take advantage of the Polygon dip or everything else, you're really cashing in right now. So that's why we're seeing now a pullback on all this. ADA was at 41. It's now to 39.5. Okay. Atom was at 1450 or something. Now it's at 1372 at the moment. IMX was at 124. It's at 114 now. I told you, people, IMX, I got it at 44 cents. So think about the person that got, I don't spend a lot of money. So it's not, I got to wait for a lot longer for me to really take profits. But somebody that's super rich, they put 10 million at 44 cents. And then it goes to $1.24, I'm sorry. They've almost tripled their money. So of course they're going to sell and pull out. That's what we all would do. So this is what's happening. And then a floor will build, and then it'll go on top of that. But as long as it does dip, you will have an opportunity to get in. I think Polkadot is super cheap at $6.49 right now. It's down 1%. Algorand, I think, is a steal still at 26 cents. Chainlink was under $7. It's at $7.11. It got up to like $7.40. And I tweeted out like 3 days ago when it was under $7. I said it's still a steal right now. Still think it's $7.11. Chainlink is a good buy. If you've never bought Decentraland at 70 cents right now, is an absolute bargain right now, down 3%. So there are coins that you can actually, in great companies that you can get into right now. So you can take advantage of it. Mina Protocol, a little over a month ago, was like at the 50-cent range. It's at $1.05 now, and it's down. It was like at $1.20, and it's $1.05 now. So like I told you, after you have a parabolic run, there's always a little bit of a dip, and it comes back. That's when, if you haven't gotten in, that's usually when you want to get in on the dips. That's how this game works. And then it allows you to, make profit. Yes. When sports and business collide, we like doing something called the KSDT CPA, Sports Business Report. did you know that Tom Brady has a production company? All right. Well, according to Mike Fleming Jr. of Deadline, Brady's production company, 199 Productions, will take place in developing a limited TV series on the career of John Madden. Fleming noted that Brady's presence as executive producer was particularly important to Madden's family as they pledged their lives to the project. If Dad was still around and he was looking for a few guys to huddle up and tell his story, he'd be thrilled to have Tom Brady leading the huddle, Mike Madden said. John Madden, an icon who made his mark on the sidelines in the broadcasting booth and also in pop culture as a namesake of the universally popular video game. He led the Oakland Raiders to a victory in Super Bowl 11, and he went on to be a 16-time Emmy Award winner as a broadcaster. Passed away in 2021 at the age of 85. Per Fleming, the project on Madden's career was originally planned to be a feature film, but those involved felt his life and contributions to America's most popular sport was too big of a 2-hour treatment. How about that? And that's pretty cool. Now I'm thinking, is it Goodman? John Goodman? Is he the guy from Roseanne, right? Is that not a guy that could play the John Madden role? Right? I know he lost some weight, which doesn't work for the role, by the way. We need you to gain the weight again. But you can change his color of his hair and puff up his eyebrows like Madden had. And although he's skinnier now, maybe he can do the sideline Madden as a coach, because he has the personality of, he could be John Madden, right? Because he obviously is an actor. But I'm thinking, like, who would be the guy that you would play John Madden? And Goodman was the guy that I thought of, and I think Goodman's even better. And I know he's no longer with us. John Candy was the other big fat guy that I thought of, but I still think Goodman fills more the role and the look, the facial look of a John Madden. So that's the only thing that I was thinking about with all of this. I think it's a cool thing to do a TV series about John Madden. If we're going to see his life from the 70s on, where he became a Raiders coach and then going into broadcasting and the whole thing, I think that would be a really cool story to tell, because he was such a colorful guy on the sidelines. And then he was in an era where, my God, the Raiders were as colorful a team as they got, because they always had all kinds of misfits and characters and, just dudes. You know what I'm saying? And so the Raiders were kind of one of those kind of teams that had that. And Kevin James, it's not bad, Armando. I like John Goodman better than Kevin James, for me. I don't know. The only other guy I thought of was, obviously the late John Candy. And you got to think of a big guy actor, you know what I'm saying? And for me, it would be anybody else. Can you come up with better than Goodman? No, right? It's hard.
I can't come up with anybody, honestly. Like when I'm thinking about Madden and trying to think about today, I know adding makeup and things like that but I just don't.
Like who else?
I don't know.
Outside of John Goodman, I don't think there's another actor. Now, maybe there's an unknown somewhere that looks like him, and maybe they can find somebody great. That would be fantastic. But out of the known guys that we have still living, I think Goodman would be the best guy out of all of them. George Wendt, not bad. That's pretty good. I can see the whole facial thing that you're talking about. I like George Wendt better than Kevin James. I'm still taking Goodman. Now, somebody says Sean Stanley playing.
I got the fat part down. That's about it.
Oh, man. I got that down too with you. You think AVG makes the cut? I think so. I think Andrew Van Ginkel makes the cut. I like him, man. But I'm biased. I'm a Van Ginkel fan, dude. So I think he's a guy that's been underused, actually. I would use him more. I think he has a knack for being around the ball, and I hope Fangio finds a place for him on this defense. I really like him. And Mr. Torres says, I like Big O, but he makes way too many excuses for Tua. I bet you anything they draft another QB and Tua will not play all year, and he will look the same this year with more interception. There you go. All right, Mr. Torres. Kevin James lost a lot of weight. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I still facial. Kevin James' face. I know you can do the makeup stuff. Goodman kind of has those that quality that looks John Madden-ish already.
You can't have the guy that did Sean Payton do John Madden.
That's true. That's true. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right. Plus, I don't think he fits the role, dude. I don't think he fits the role. I think you got to be a bigger fat guy. He's a shorter fat guy.
I almost think you have to find, like you were saying, an unknown.
I don't know. Yeah.
You have to find an unknown. There's nobody. I don't believe there's anybody today. And then the other thing is, not only do you.
Oh, Goodman can do it.
But then you got to take on that role. And then you have to become.
Goodman can do it.
I don't know, man.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor, but.
He's a good actor. I think he's the only guy I can come up with in my mind that's living that I could say, okay, that's the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, like Chris Farley, what are you going to do if he was around?
Yeah, no way he couldn't do that. I wouldn't want him to do that because I would want Farley to be.
You want Farley.
Yeah.
Farley to be Farley.
That's where I think I'm having the problem is trying to figure out who could do that role with looking at who's out there today because you almost, in a way, typecast them into what they're already doing.
Right.
Which is why, in a way, it's hard for me to see John Goodman. I mean, I know he's done a lot of other things.
Yeah, he's done other things.
But now I see him as, like the Connors guy. Because that's what I've seen him as lately. And I don't see that being the guy to portray John Madden.
Yeah. So there you go. That is our KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
By the way, Dan B., you brought up a great one. Brendan Fraser. I know he did that whale movie. He's a really good actor. He's the kind of guy that you with the makeup. I like that one, dude. I like that one. And he's a big guy already. Because I don't think you can be a short, fat guy to play Madden. I think you've got to be a tall, fat guy to play Madden. And he's a tall guy. And I think, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Out of all the suggestions that you guys have thrown, the Brendan Fraser one is really good. That one's a good one. You like that one? I think that's a good one. I like that one. That one challenges my Goodman. I like that one. That one I can see myself losing that argument and that discussion. If we put it up amongst people, I can see that one. I think I can win over all the other ones. Christian Bale and Benny Hill and George Wendt and Kevin James. I think my suggestion is way better than all of those. But I like that one, dude. Brendan Fraser. That's a really, really good one. I like it. What's that? Brian Dennehy. Yeah. That actually would be exceptional. He's no longer with us. Brian Dennehy. That's the best one. You nailed it. Jayhawk, you nailed it. If Dennehy was still with us, right, that would be the best person to play John Madden. Man, that would be freaking perfect to play John Madden. Brian Dennehy. Love that suggestion. That's the best one. Nice job. You guys coming in strong on that. Yeah. I like it. I like Dennehy, too, as an actor. I like him. Usually played some conniving idiot. A-hole, he played a lot of bad guys in his days. It's almost like every time he showed up in a movie, he was some kind of a badass or bad dude, and then there were a couple roles he had as a cop or something like that. But yeah, I like Dennehy. good. I'm a fan of Brian Denny. That's an excellent suggestion. That would be living. If he was living, that would be the guy. That would be the best suggestion out of all of them. I like that one. I like that one a lot. RedRecover.com, by the way. We've been telling you about the wraps. Take advantage, folks. 30% off right now. I don't know how long it's going to last. It might be through the end of this month. And you can get the wraps for your shoulders, neck, back, knees, elbows, ankles. We have wraps for small dogs, for big dogs, for their hips. You know, some dogs have issues with their hips. Red light therapy is healthy for everybody. There are no side effects. Kids can use it. The dogs can use it. Adults can use it. And it does so many different things, folks. You got a scar, it can help make a scar disappear. So if you just had surgery and you want that scar to disappear, red light therapy can help you with that. Now, if you had the scar for a while now, forget about it. It's too late. It's got to be like now, or you're about to have an operation that you know you're going to have a scar. Get the wrap that goes with it. So that way you can make that scar disappear. Go check out the videos and the video blogs at redrecover.com. 30% off. By the way, if you stand a lot, they've got one for the bottom of your feet. My wife uses it every single day. When she gets home, she puts it on because she's a teacher and she's standing all day, and it does wonders for her. Feet are less sore. You recover a lot quicker. And that's the good thing about it, man. If you're playing, pickleball or tennis or whatever, and you got tennis elbow or anything like that, or soreness after workouts and playing, you can use the wraps before and after your workouts, so it optimizes your workouts, and you feel less soreness, and you will actually heal faster, which is a beautiful thing. Red light therapy can help, and especially for those old injuries and those old surgeries, we need that red light therapy. Go to redrecover.com. Athletes are using it. Everyday warriors like you and I are using it. Go to redrecover.com and save 30% while they last. redrecover.com. All right. Let's see. Dennehy and Richard Crenna were both very good in the original Rambo, yeah? They were. You are correct. You are correct, sir. What else do we have? How about Justin Fields? What is wrong with that kid? This soft-ass world that we have going on. And, I saw Justin Fields take 2 shots to the kidney against Clemson and come back and kick ass. So toughness is not really a thing that I should be worried about with Justin Fields. But what is wrong with this young man? It's very difficult to adjust to it, especially with the wind. That's what I found out. That's what it's all about. It's the wind. It can be cold. It can be 10 degrees. But with no wind, you're fine. But with that 15 mile an hour per wind or 20 mile an hour per wind, you can't fight it. It's tough. When it's that cold, you have to bundle up. I feel way slower in the cold. It's hard to stay warm in that weather. I just hope we get a dome. I don't care if we're at Soldier Field or at Arlington Heights. I hope we get a dome. Shame on you, young man. Shame on you. I mean, listen, every stadium should have a dome, especially up north, so that way you have it closed during the snowstorm. And that way the stadium's not getting filled up with snow, and then you got to shovel all that crap out. You keep it closed, and then, 15, 20 minutes, a half hour prior to kickoff, you open the roof. And if you're in Chicago, you want elements, bro. If you're in Green Bay, you want elements. Minnesota are a bunch of losers that they did not allow the elements, and they went to the dome, and now that new stadium that they have now, and they're away from the elements. Dumb. If you're in New York, you want the elements. You want to be in the Meadowlands because you're used to playing in the Meadowlands. They're not. You're used to playing at Orchard Park. They're not. Just like The Dolphins are used to playing in the heat and humidity of South Florida. And you want those northern teams to come down. And yeah, they were at training camp and all that, but they did not feel the heat and humidity of South Florida. They don't know what it's like for that humidity to suck all the moisture out of your body. You know, only LeBron found out about that in San Antonio when they turned off the AC on his ass. I mean, if you're a player, you want any and every advantage that you can possibly fathom. The Celtics, the infamous parquet floor from back in the Garden, do you remember about that? It had dead spots. But Larry Bird knew where the dead spots were. So did Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge and everybody else that played for the Celtics for many years. But the visiting Miami Heat or the Lakers or the Detroit, they weren't used to the dead spots on the floor. So they weren't used to when they were bouncing certain parts. Oh, whoa, it didn't come back to me the same way. I got to reach down or I mishandled it or something. But the Celtic players knew exactly when to attack you defensively because they knew when the ball was going to have a dead spot. There was no air conditioning in the old Garden. You remember that? They had holes in the walls that's where that's how it was back in the day. So you had an advantage. You had an advantage in the Orange Bowl. It was hot. It was hot at night. It was going to be loud because it was a big-ass aluminum can that everybody would and make a whole bunch of noise. Advantages. And this is, Justin Fields, a youngin' that doesn't understand tradition, that doesn't understand having an advantage. And you want that advantage because you're the guy that plays in that Chicago wind all the time. So you should know how to play better than any other quarterback that comes to visit because you're constantly practicing and playing in it. You want to get away from the elements because it's too cold, because it's too windy. No, dude, you want to use them to your advantage. It's funny, man. I saw that story and I'm like, kid, you just don't get it, man. You just don't get it. Anyway, thought that was funny. What else do we have going on? And I'm on record for this. I'm going to tell you something that it's not like I have these facts to back it up, but I've said this before already. And I just would not be shocked if this Sean Payton to Denver thing becomes an absolute disaster. You know that? I feel like he's too cocky coming in. I think he had a lot of help there in New Orleans. Quite frankly, you only won one championship with Drew Brees. And now, did you see the latest? Rex Ryan is the leading candidate for defensive coordinator. I can't take you serious now. I can't take you serious. He's been out of football several years. I think that's another guy that, you had your moment, bro, and you've never been able to match that moment. And I get it. He's he's only going to be a defensive coordinator. I just kind of feel like this guy Sean Payton is coming in with, I don't know. It's almost like he thinks he can make, wine out of water. And I just get this feeling that this is going to be an outright disaster for the Denver Broncos. I don't know what it is about it, but it kind of rubs me the wrong way. And then when I hear this about Rex Ryan as your defensive coordinator, I'm like, oh my God, really? You got to turn the page sometimes in life. That's the best you can do? A guy that's been out of football for several years? Knock yourselves out if that's what you want to do. But I got to tell you something. My early prediction here, and I may be wrong, and I've been wrong about 1,000 things in life. I don't think this Sean Payton Denver Bronco thing is going to be as good as people think it is. So, you know. Rhino, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, serious question. Do northern teams even still practice during the week outside? I think they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Now, if it's like, heavy snow and stuff like that, they probably won't. But if it's cold out there, for sure, man, if you play in those elements, you want to practice in those elements. So, yes, I would think that they still do. Do they do it as much? Probably not. Big O just doesn't feel right with Payton in Denver. Have the same feeling, though. Yeah, doesn't it? It just, there's something about it that just kind of rubs me the wrong way that I think it's going to be. Do you feel the same way about this? About Sean Payton in Denver?
I just look at the team. I mean, the offense. I just look at everything around. It's like, why would you choose? I guess because they're the ones that offered you the money. But
right, yeah.
Other than that, why would you?
Well, I mean, Cower let the bag out when he said, or was it No, it was Bradshaw that he said he didn't want to go to Denver.
Yeah,
he didn't want to deal with Russell Wilson, but he had no choice.
I guess that's the perfect example of how money talks, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because he wanted either Houston or Carolina.
You're looking at this team as an analyst. You've been analyzing every team. That has to be the one team you're going. That's not a good.
No, it's not a good situation.
If you're a good analyst, you're looking at going, that's not a good situation.
No, you're stuck with Russell Wilson. They have no choice.
And you could have stayed in. I don't understand. I don't understand it. And I think, it's going to be. Unless they brought him in and said, look, 1 year and then you can clean out. But they're stuck with Russell Wilson.
No, you're stuck with Russell for at least 2 more years. Right? At least.
So, I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah. I just, wow.
It baffles me. But again, the money talks.
Yeah. Yeah. How do I think?
Also, I guess in a way too. Sorry to.
Go ahead.
Is if everything fails, it's just going to be right. He just pushed off on the players, right? Well, Russell, Andy got Russell. Who else is going to come in and do anything with this?
No.
I mean, I guess
it's your choice, right?
Now you kind of you getting the money and you can have a fallback because you can just put it off on Russell Wilson.
You're the guy that can change water into wine. Rex Ryan signed the deal as soon as they said, we want you to be our DC on our foot. I'm in. Troy Ortiz, how do you think the new head coach in Arizona will handle Murray? That looks like a disaster. Yeah, I don't know. And I got to tell you something. I was wrong about Kyler Murray because I thought he had it, like he can pass, and he can, but you just can't measure somebody's heart and their maturity. And that kid just has not matured. And that's a shame because he has touch. He has something that Lamar Jackson doesn't have. But Lamar has way more dedication to his craft than Kyler Murray does. That's the sad part about Lamar Jackson. Lamar's a great young man. He's super dedicated, works hard. He just can't be a good passer. That's his problem. And it's not his fault. It's just, it is what it is. You either got it or you don't. But he's a great athlete, so great athletes can fool you plenty of times because they're going to do things at times that you and I could never do. That's why they're great athletes. Put a dome up there. I don't care. Let Justin Fields dictate it. The way the Finns play up there late in the season, it will be easy. We'll keep our advantage of the heat at Hard Rock. No, I'm with you there. I mean, you're going to Chicago. You no longer have to deal with the elements. Great. I'm with you there. I'm just saying, I don't want to dome here in South Florida. No, I want the heat and the humidity. You know what I'm saying? I think if you live in a certain area, you want to take advantage of your advantages. Paul says Sean Payton to Denver will go over as well as John Gruden of the Raiders did. Yeah. I never believed in Gruden and the Raiders. That one I never believed in. And it does rub me kind of the same way. Yeah. I'm with you. Rex Ryan got off on the wrong foot the last time. He was a head coach. All the foot jokes are coming out now. I can't. Yeah, I know. I can't believe Wilson is done. It could be just one really bad year for him. If Wilson gets himself together, Peyton will look good. You're right about that, Jayhawk. If he can straighten out Wilson, that will be one hell of an accomplishment for him. And by the way, that'll save his ass, because if he has to deal with Wilson for a couple of years of bad play, it will look bad on him, and then you still got to find a quarterback. So it is what it is. What was that again?
You're not going to do Pat Nashville's last two feet jokes there? He's coming in strong here.
Rex Ryan will put his best foot forward if he gets another opportunity to coach. And Rex Ryan wasn't competitive enough as a coach. He loved defeat. Oh, God. By the way, just on a small music note, I saw that Richie Sambora is trying to get back to Bon Jovi and could be rejoining the band. I would want to ask him, outside of money, do you need it? Why? Bon Jovi can't sing anymore, and all you play is the wussy-ass music you've made since after you made great music. Because you barely play any of your hits. You play a lot of the garbage that's come out of the last 4 or 5 albums, which are trash. Like, Bon Jovi only makes trash music now. And he has no voice. Why would you want to come back? I saw that one, and I was like, what the hell is that about?
See, Alf Arteaga said on there, Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy have nearly identical careers, right down to points per game, win percentage, playoff wins, and Super Bowl wins. One is considered a genius, the other a moron.
Yeah, it's true. He's right. He's 1,000% right. He's right. And some will tell you that he didn't do enough with Breeze as many years as he had him. What was the stat that that our boy from Denver gave us? That he had like 7 losing seasons with Breeze or something like that? That's crazy. That's crazy. So I don't know. Maybe Alf, you feel the same way. I just feel like this Peyton thing is going to explode, dude. I don't look at it like this is a slam dunk or anything. I just kind of, his deal? Oh God, he's getting paid like $18 million per year. I think it's like a 7-year deal. Yeah, it's a lot of money, bro. It's a lot of money. We thank Alex Vanover, pilot in the Drone Racing League, coming to South Florida. We thank Steve Calabro, of course, general manager here at Hialeah Park, David Dwork, Alan Poupart, of course, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend that makes it happen and masters this platform every single day. We thank, of course, all of you for tuning in and showing us some love. Remember, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Tomorrow, we're going to be at KSDT CPA offices in Doral, and I'm looking forward to it because Jeffrey Tarabolis, who is the managing partner of the firm, he's going to be live at the pits in Daytona. So we will have some live shots. There you go. And Rhino coming in with Sean is the man. They know, Sean. They know you are the man. No, I think he means Sean Stanley is the man. He doesn't mean Sean Payton. There's only one Sean that is the man here on this platform, and it's you, sir. So, the Sean Allen, on behalf of the Sean Allen, I'm Orlando Alsgair. We thank Frank Fiore. We thank the Brunetti family, John Brunetti Jr., as always. Thank you, being very supportive of our platform. We will see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.